I had a dream in my head how I wanted to build it. People said to me, you can't. A few of the things like the giggle pin in the rear.
I've learnt that very quickly, not to say those words. You can't do that.
And a lot of people say you can't because they know that the person's not going to pay for it. It's the person that go, I don't care how much it is. Ah, okay. Yes, you can.
Yeah. Tom and Peter.
Yep.
How are we, gentlemen?
Good. It's been a bit of a long day.
It has.
Yeah, we just flew up from Melbourne.
We did.
Sunny Melbourne.
So, really?
No.
No?
It's ice cold. Jumper this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. There's been some crazy weather down there lately, though, where it's been pretty freaking hot.
Hot and cold. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, let's jump into it. Cheers for coming down. Give us a cheers. We'll kick it off, right?
Mate.
Thank you very much. And over this way. There we go. All right. It's been a long day, so I'm going to neck a couple of these, I reckon. All right. So, first guests in the new studio. So, how do you feel?
Privileged.
Yeah. Well, I feel privileged that you flew up to do this.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
That's really cool.
No, it's a great setup.
Yeah, well,
Sure.
it's got a lot of work left to do, but it's only so many hours in a
You're
day.
not showing on that side of it. So.
No, we won't turn the cameras that way.
Nah.
But no, like literally, the last couple of days was just like painting and carpeting and fucking hanging curtains, and there's so much more still to do. But purpose built now for what we're doing, so something a bit different for than having it in the showroom and people come in and God, you couldn't move in that thing. Everything in there was just it was a multi-purpose room. So
Yeah.
but a little bit different setup for us now. So, but for you guys, why don't you take us through sort of where you're from, because you guys are doing some really cool stuff and there's some really cool history.
There is some cool history. Yeah.
That when we first spoke and you sort of were talking about where it had come from, I think you got to one part, then I just went, "No, fuck, stop. I'm good." Yeah, you've got to hear more about that.
Pete's the one to talk about it. So.
Yeah, so I'm third generation.
Yep.
We've been around in Australia since '66.
Okay.
Manufacturing.
Yep.
And before that, my grandfather was doing it in England.
Yeah.
Doing some weird and wonderful stuff over there.
Yeah.
Racing go-karts, building go-karts.
Yep.
And then he was doing heavy haulage. He was pulling broken down trucks and truck crashes and stuff, pulling them out and bits and pieces like that. So
that's some stuff. We've got some photos on there too.
Yeah.
All the old photos back in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was something to do with James Bond in there, wasn't there?
Yeah, he did a convertible for a James Bond movie.
Yeah, that's cool as.
Yeah.
What year was that? Do you know what movie it was?
No, I do, but I've forgotten it.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
So when he was racing his go-karts, he actually raced against Sterling Moss.
Okay, there you go. And where did it all start? What was the original thing?
He went into the war as a roomie.
Okay.
Royal Electrical Engineer, something like that.
Yeah.
And then come out and started his own business, doing whatever.
Right.
Bits and pieces, whatever.
Yeah.
Smart man, put his hand to anything.
Right.
Mechanic by trade.
Yeah.
So he's fixing up farm equipment and stuff like that. And then, got a factory, started making bits and pieces, and then people used to come to him from all over the place.
Yeah.
To do bits and pieces, so yeah. And then he heard, with the go-karts, he had a mate from America get in touch with him and say, "Have you heard about the new craze? What's the new craze?" In America, they had the go-karts.
Yeah.
So he sent him some drawings and he made a heap of go-karts and stored them in the roof. And then
Right.
it come out in England in the paper saying about these go-karts, and he already had them.
Yeah.
So he advertised them, bang, they were sold. And he went from there and
Yeah, right.
had his own go-kart team, KRT.
Yeah.
And he used to race all over Europe and
Wow.
with the boys. And there's I've got, mum and dad have got old video footage of him doing it and racing and
Wow.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, he was only been, 5 or 6, and he's running around in a go-kart as well. He made him a little go-kart.
Yeah. Is the progression over in England the same sort of thing here? Like the young guys come up in the karts and they either end up in the V8 supercars or...
I would assume so, yeah.
Yeah. What's the race over there? Are they Indy or what have they got over there?
I'm not sure.
Don't know.
In the UK, it'd be like Formula 4 or Formula Ford or something like that, isn't it? And starting your go-karts and progressing to the single-seaters and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
What it was like back in the 60s, I don't know, or late 50s, early 60s it would have been.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no protective gear,
No.
Arab overalls, a leather helmet,
Yeah, goggles.
goggles,
Yeah.
and hay bales.
Yeah,
So anything
right.
stopped it, and he was doing 100 mile an hour.
God, you're going to go through a hay bale pretty quick at 100.
And that was one of the reasons why he stopped, because his mate got killed, went under a barbed wire fence, took his head off,
Oh.
and said, "That's it, not doing it anymore.
Oh.
You boys want to race? You can have your carts and do all that." He said, "But nah,
Yeah.
it's getting too quick."
My old man came up. He was, what was he? He was used to drive the old Billettes and EH Holden and stuff like that. The worst he did was he flipped a car, and I think it was an EH when they were rolling it back over, and sort of the four or five of them sort of letting it down. A couple of his fingers, 2 or 3 of his fingers, got caught between the sill and a rock and just gone.
Yeah,
Yeah, right on the side of the road. Yeah, like, oh. But
yeah.
yeah, wow, geez, head off through barbed wire fence. That's
But that was your protective gear back then.
yeah, right. But if you think about that, like, because there's some of those races like overseas where it's just like back streets.
Or just in the field. That's all they were racing it in.
yeah, right. And he's come off and just
just lost it and went through a fence. And,
If you got that hard drive there, there's a whole folder of all these photos of the go-karts and
is it? Yeah,
Yeah.
bring that up, Shawnee.
there's the motorbikes for the circus as well.
yeah,
I
he used to
think.
make little mini bikes for dwarfs and stuff in the circus. And
Yep.
yeah,
How you going? You still good?
I'm still going on this one.
Fucking man, I tell you what, it's been a long week today.
but yeah, they used to try and keep up with him in the go-karts. So they decided at the end of the season we're going to copy what he had.
Yeah.
My grandfather heard word of this, and because he used to run a McCulloch chainsaw engine on the rear.
Okay.
So he found out that they were doing the same thing, so he put twins on it. Turned up for the first race of the next season with twin motors, and they're just like, oh, shit. How are we going to keep up with him now?
So this is before all the the dot points of scrutineering and making
Yeah.
sure everything was even. It was just have at it.
Yeah, just go.
bolting horsepower onto it, just hang on.
That's
Yeah, you can imagine what the brakes would have been like back then.
yeah, not great.
No.
God, I'm trying to think of the last time I was even in a go-kart. I'm pretty sure they were a disc, but it was just a manual disc, like a.
Yeah. But I don't think it would have been a disc back then.
I'm trying to think of what sort of brakes there even would have been. I remember being on a go-kart years ago when we were up the coast, we were kids, and it was...
It's the ones he made for the public.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the brake it was like a shoe shape, but it wasn't inside a drum, it would press on the tyre.
Yep.
Hey, where'd you go? I missed it. Go back again. Talking shit too much, sorry. Yeah, that's cool as.
Not much protection there, is there?
No. And how quick were they going in that?
100 mile an hour.
Good Lord. That's the 160 Ks.
Yeah.
That's
With your arse an inch off the ground.
Yeah.
Wow.
that is cool.
That's nuts. I want one. Yeah, right. Is there the progression of this after that? Is this something that's still happening in some way over there, or
Not with my grandfather or any of the family, no.
no? Okay, yeah, cool.
No. Like I said, once his mate died, he just got out of it and left it.
Oh, okay, right. I thought what you said he stopped driving. I didn't
Yeah.
realize he backed out of the lot. Wow.
Yeah, he just said, nah, you
Yeah,
boys
that's
can
kind
keep
of-
the carts, but I'm out.
That's kind of fair enough too.
Yeah.
I think if Shawnee lost his head doing something, I'd probably. I'd take the weekend off for you.
Have a drink or two for it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, have a celebration. No, he's a good egg. Yeah, right. That's cool. Oh, where's that? That's the old factory
the old
too.
Dandenong factory. That's the old one in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Early days.
So this is obviously something that you've grown up in. Was it something that you were kind of just gently nudged towards, or no? You were all after it as well.
Mum can tell you I was about 2 or 3, and I said to her, Mum, I'm going to go work with Dad
Nice.
back then.
Yeah.
And that's all I've ever wanted to do.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. School holidays, like 12 years old, school holidays, I'm going to work.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. We had the Huracan Fabrication boys up a while ago. They were talking about it was Jason's son. He's in there now. Young guy. He can run like hasn't even finished school and he can run all the CNC machines, and it's that, you know, just got that thing because Dad's doing it as well.
because you want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like that a little bit. My old man was a tinkerer. I've said it on here a few times because my last name's Mott. So it was always be that Dad would modify things.
Yeah.
And, you know, he didn't have to be a great welder as long as you were a good grinder, he'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that drawbar, Dad, you know, but nothing fell apart. I'll give him that.
Should be right.
Just, you know, gluing hot metal together.
Yeah.
So what's the transition, because the background is all heavy engineering and fabrication and
Not necessarily heavy, but yeah, more repetition.
yeah.
Wouldn't say heavy.
No?
No.
Okay.
Up till about 10, 12 mil.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's not light.
No, but it's
then
not
I guess-
beams,
yeah,
and, you know, like
true.
the structural stuff.
Yeah.
It's more your smaller stuff, high repetition.
Yeah. Yeah, see, for me, 10 mils, that's pretty friggin' heavy.
Yeah.
When you deal with sheet metal all day.
Yeah, but it's not like the, you know, 25s and 50s and
Yeah, right. So the base of the business, or the core of the business, which is what it's been for ages, is the engineering side.
Yeah.
But you've got a whole new area that you're bringing in as well, or that you've brought in a while ago.
yeah, about really concentrated on about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Is the trays and canopies.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that's where you come in.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just clarifying, because like we've had conversations and I've got like just this plethora of information up there, so
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get it all in the right
The,
order.
the engineering's been 59 years. So when to come into
66 in Australia.
66.
Wow.
So yeah, just doing, as Pete said, your high repetition, all that sort of stuff, and then I guess you sort of took over from your dad and
Yeah.
did stuff that you wanted to do
Yeah,
essentially.
built a car, built the stretched 79. That was the first one we built.
Yeah.
Had a hand from another fabrication, a four-wheel drive fabrication place.
Yep.
And, we airbagged it and stretched it and put a tray and canopy and stuff on it, and people saw it and just started to go from there.
Yeah, okay.
So you built that, and then did the single cab, pretty
Yeah.
much the same setup.
Yeah. Just wanted to build something that was off its head. That
It's
I
good.
had
It's a good
a
place
dream-
to start.
Yeah, I had a dream in my head how I wanted to build it.
Yeah.
People said to me, you can't. A few of the things like the giggle pin in the rear,
Yeah.
you can't put that in there. Yeah, okay. You can.
Yeah, right.
I've learned that very quickly, not to say those words. You
Yeah.
can't do that.
Well, yeah, I think there's four-wheel drive industries I think is really more replaced, or really has more replaced. It's very expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Because in a lot of places that you deal with, you'll be like, can you do it? No, you can't do it. Well, you can.
Yeah.
It's just 5 times the price.
Yeah.
And,
And a lot of people say you can't because they know that the person's not going to pay for it.
yeah, there's that.
It's the person that go, I don't care how much it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yes. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. That's 4 generations there. It's me a couple of years before my grandfather died, and that's my oldest son who's now 15.
Wow.
Yeah. I wanted to get that photo before he passed just to have the 4 generations there.
Oh, the old forearm tap from back in the day.
Yep.
That's old school. Yeah, what a great pick.
That's pretty cool.
There's
Yeah.
not many businesses who've got,
Nah.
because I've got a picture of that hanging in my office.
Yeah.
And there's not many people who can have that hanging in their office for 4 generations.
No. That's very cool.
Especially these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially these days with a lot of the kids coming through, like their work ethics, not what it was when I was coming up.
100%.
So, you know,
Yeah.
that's very cool. It's awesome that your little fella's getting involved. Have you just got the one?
No, I got 2. I had
Yeah.
another one after him.
Yeah.
So I got 2, one 15 and one 12.
Okay. That's 3 years. That's the same as my 2.
Yeah.
Both boys?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a boy and a girl. That's she's cute now, but I reckon in a few years she'll probably start causing me dramas.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
But yeah, I don't know what they want to do. They haven't really said,
Yeah.
the boys. The youngest one may come. Don't know. And it's up to them, whatever they want to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Doesn't matter. Dad always said the same thing to me.
Yeah.
If you want to come across and do it, that's fine. If you don't, no stress.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I got the jack of all trades thing from my old man, because I'll tinker with everything.
Yeah.
But there's I think we had this conversation as well. It was like, no, it's like doing these shows, like, and learning sort of how businesses have come either from just an idea recently,
Yep.
or something that's been, you know, third generation or fourth, you know, coming up soon. It's really interesting that I take all sorts of different stuff from the conversations, and there's parts of me is like, I wish I'd gone back. I wish I could go back and implement some of that copy and paste stuff. I said this with James from Pirate when we were talking. He was talking about the copy and paste products, and because I still, everything for me is still one off.
Yeah.
Which is, it keeps me entertained. It's fucking not a great way to make money.
No. Well, that's how we started. That's how we started with the trays and canopies. I wanted to do custom because custom is good. Mm-hmm. There's nothing better than a customer coming in with an idea and you making it happen and just blowing their mind and going, oh.
That's what you pretty much told me as soon as I started, was you just want to build the stuff that other people say no to.
That's right.
Yeah, we had that chat as well. Yeah, because we've done some stuff in the past where we were trying to get a little bit, even just a bit of a, oh, good Lord, where's that? What's that?
That's the heavy haulage you used to do back in England, recovering the trucks.
That one on the back looks like it's had a rough day.
Yeah. Is that the rotator? That's the rotator one?
That's the winch. There's the winch that can go north, south, east, west underneath it as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he used to lower himself down a hill and pull the truck out and then pull himself out. And yeah.
I had a mate up the coast who had an old PDO winch that would go front and back, but yeah, not side to side. That's a heaps cool.
Yeah. Dad used to sit on top of the gearbox every now and again because obviously England's warm.
Oh,
So he used to sit on top of the gearbox and try and keep warm. And yeah, grandfather used to take him around. And
That's pretty cool.
That's heaps cool.
yeah.
Yeah, the trying to do something a little bit custom. So the first, pardon me, when we do our like a single cab chop, so we'll do like, I've always done like a steel tray and then all the bolt-on bits were alley. Because in my mind, I was like, if you're leaning over into something, the steel is going to take a bit more of the hit. Pardon me, but the fuel relocation for like the old 80s and stuff like that, you know, we would put them up the front and have a separate headboard, but all I tried to do was critique that a bit and get my design of the like coming out flat 45 and then 45 to dress the front of a canopy so that it was incorporated in the canopy build. And I was like, it doesn't seem that hard to go, I've already got the measurements.
Yep.
Whatever the shape of your front of your canopy is, add that to it. Nobody do it.
Yep.
You know, it's like, it doesn't seem that complicated. And they would just, you know, they wouldn't have a bar of it. Or they would want, you know, absorbent amounts of bloody money
100%.
for a headboard.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you were talking about the fact that there was, when we spoke on the phone, that you guys were really keen on doing that custom stuff, that's what really pricked my ears up because it's like when you get into the point of the types of builds that are out there and, you know, like you guys have just done the Melbourne show?
Yeah.
Yeah, last year, the Melbourne 4x4 show, yeah.
Well,
it has been one this year, yeah.
That's right. When's that? That's
August.
not far off.
August, yeah.
August, right.
Yeah.
Like the feedback that we got from the Brisbane show was it was like they're all just influencers and $250,000 builds it up. Mm-hmm. You know, there was a video that I got tagged in. There was a young bloke had gone to it and was just left totally defeated.
Yep.
He was like, "Where's all the normal everyday kind of cars?
Yep.
Like, where are the 80s that don't have $100,000 spent on them?
Yeah.
And stuff like that." But the flip side of that is that when all these builds are $250,000 and up, how do you make them fucking different?
Yes.
When all the big names are all doing the same fucking thing.
And we had...
a lot of it's just bolt-on stuff, but
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
you know, you want to have a $250,000 build or plus.
That's different.
Yeah, have your bolt-on stuff, but you want to have your custom stuff that you can see and go, "Whoa, who did that? And where did that come from?" And you know, that can't be made. Yeah, it can.
Yes.
Like we had last year. Actually, it's pretty much every show we've gone to. Like we had a Navara there, just your everyday Navara, train canopy on it. We put a gold mirror on the Bushman fridge, and then you had the Wig 79, the single cab cruiser. Everyone just bypassed the cruiser and go straight for the Navara because it's affordable, it's attainable, it's something that they can buy.
Yeah.
Like it's a car that's not over the top.
Yeah.
And everyone I just remember seeing you just going there. It's like, why is no one looking at my cruiser? It's just this Navara sitting.
And that was
right
the
there.
same with the Chev. At the
Yeah,
show,
the Chev.
people will come in and go, I can't afford that, but they go and have a look at the nav.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think it's gotten. There's obviously people out there that'll spend the money.
Yeah.
Hands down. Sure. Cool. No worries. But it's really funny because we've spoken about this a few times, and I literally, one of the boys that works here, and I've got to give a shout out to Glenn and his guys at Daydream for building this, because it's like they've knocked this thing up pretty quick, but they literally did finish at like 3:30 today. But we were talking this afternoon, and he was talking about four drive action back in the day, whatever it is, 24/7 now. And he's like, he used to religiously watch the show, but he's like, but when Shauno bought like his fifth truck, he was like, okay, this is just taking the piss now, because you're just literally showing us where all our money's going and the support and everything else. And there's, for people that are successful, good on them.
Yeah.
But for the average everyday punter, and that conversation again sort of brought over me, he was like, that's too much. You know, he's got an 80 series sitting at home that he's working on as well. He's had it for a few years, and it's like, yes, people will spend the money, but at the same time, there's a shit ton that don't have it. That's why we do the builds, the 80s that we do. We start with a petrol, chop them down, single cab, you know, basic sort of setup, but pretty fun.
Yeah.
And they're like 50 grand when they're done.
Yeah.
Because for the guys that can't afford 100 grand plus a build,
Yes.
you know, it's perfect.
It's more achievable for people.
Yeah. You know, and it's like you got a 4-corner coil single cab or dual cab or whatever.
Yep.
But then there's the guys like you guys that are building this like fucking awesome shit that I sit there and I'm like, if I sell about 27 of those fucking 8 series, we'll be sweet.
Yeah.
But have you guys got some examples on that hard drive of some of the stuff you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to bring some of that up,
Chev.
Sonny?
The Chev's on there. Yeah, it's got its own folder.
Yeah, right.
That was a pretty sick build. That Chev. Yeah. We only did the tray and canopy on it. The customer had it all kitted out. But the tray and canopy, the conversation you had with them, with all it's got the gun holder and the headboard and stuff like that. So that's got drawer there. So that's the headboard. So there'll be another photo there with some with a drawer that comes out the side.
It's almost deceiving when you look at these things in a photo like that to how big they really are.
Yeah. And the main brief for this customer was it's a station vehicle. So
Never goes on the blacktop.
it will never go on the blacktop.
Right.
So they need to be off grid. So there's a full kitchen, pantry, induction, fridge, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Storage.
That's really nice.
Rooftop tent on it, and then the gun box that comes out the headboard, which I'm hoping I'll put a photo on it. Maybe I did. There it is.
There it is.
Because when they're on the station, they've got to have their firearms with them. And they got young kids. So they just want them stored away.
Originally,
Lockable. So, that's effectively a gun safe.
Yeah. Originally, it was going to go on the canopy, but we just didn't have the space for it because of the size of the canopy they wanted. So people just like chuck it in the headboard.
Yeah, right. That's heaps cool.
And that was seeing that at the show. Just all it was. Yeah, it was. Pretty cool. Everyone's just seeing it, going, "What's this thing out the side?" Going around the corner, going, "Oh, okay, that's pretty cool." And it was pretty cool to see it too. We were just standing back on the stand next to us, just watching all these people just in awe of this thing. Like Chevy with a 5-poster and gun box out the side and all that sort of stuff.
What is it? Is that a 2500?
Yes, 2500
Yeah,
Chev.
2500 Chev, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The custom
that's
stuff,
cool.
laser cut the Chev logo on the door and the dog box, and
See, that's the thing. It's like,
The little details.
I love that.
Their station names on the... Is it on the...
the kitchen. Yeah, if you
Yeah,
keep going
kitchen.
back to the kitchen there.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's their station name. Just little bits and pieces.
Yeah, but that's the I love the builds where it's 2 months later and you get a phone call and they go, "I've just noticed this," because it was subtle. You know, it's not. It wasn't like in your face straight away. I mean, that's a really good looking back end.
And to get that one done too, you drove up to
Drove up to Broken Hill and picked it up and drove it back.
spend a week with them on the station and stuff like that.
What sort of drives that to Melbourne?
About 9 hours.
Good Lord! Wow.
Could say, is it a service we offer or
You do what you do.
Yeah, that's it. Hey,
there's a station out you can camp on and,
Yeah.
and do a bit of hunting on?
Yeah, exactly right.
But no, that was a pretty cool build, and they were great to deal with. Chelsea and Angus just letting us use the car at the show and having on display, and they were all for it, which is great. helped us a lot. Just having a vehicle that you can just go, one of those builds which just grabs people's attention.
Yeah.
Sitting next to the car, that's, you know, the everyday, you know, build that you can do.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool to see. And things like that gunbox headboard, like I haven't seen it being done before.
No. No, not at all.
And there was a lot of effort done into it. Like it wasn't an easy task.
No, it's not. It's something like that ain't easy.
Yeah, right.
But no, pulling it off was it was pretty sick by the time, for sure. And just little things, like all the accents and
There's been a bit of stuff I've seen around lately with the black or grey outside and all the white inside. Is that something that you guys have seen a lot of lately?
We haven't seen a lot of it. The main reason that we do it is if you put lights inside,
Yeah.
it shines up. If it's all black, put a light inside, you don't see nothing.
I don't think I've ever painted the inside of a canopy. I've only ever just left them alley.
Yeah, right.
oh yeah, no, has to be painted.
Otherwise,
Yeah,
it just goes grey.
Otherwise, it just goes grey, and then everything, rubbing
against
on
it.
it and stuff, it just
Yeah.
turns to crap. But white canopy just brightens the whole thing up.
Yeah.
Like you have a black canopy, and no joke, you turn your lights on, you still can't see inside.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah, when the boys are putting it together, they lose like the Allen keys and stuff, or nuts and bolts. You know,
Yeah.
they do disappear. And the white just really makes it pop. But
It's good look. It's a nice contrast.
with the color coded doors as well, like just it was a real nice build, that one. It was a lot of fun to do. Even just driving on the road, I was in the single cab and
Driving
then
to the show.
driving to the show, and people
Yeah.
just share the looks like we snapped some necks that day.
Yeah, that'd be on the like the prerequisite when you sign the job card in the beginning. It'd be like, all right, so when it's ready, delivery date's a week later.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna go have some fun.
yeah, that was at least 6-7 inch of lift.
Yeah.
It was massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And it was getting into the show was an effort.
Yeah, right.
Just fitting into our stand was something else, but it was a pretty sick build, that one.
What do you find the biggest questions are that you get when you're at the show? Is it like for people coming up having a chat? Is
How
it,
much?
yeah, right, fair call.
Well, especially for the Chev, they kept saying how much.
Yeah.
How much? Same with my single cab. How much?
Yeah,
Doesn't really matter.
true.
You know?
Yeah. And is there something you've got that's your pride and joy that you'll never get rid of that you've got all your gear on, or do you
Probably the 79.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a folder on that one.
Is there?
Yeah, that one.
It's got a lot of stuff on it. And a lot of people don't see it. Like, because
Yeah.
it doesn't look out of place.
Okay.
And then someone will be you got that there and that there. It's all hidden away and in its place. And
Yeah.
yeah.
That was the first build. So before I even started Wigley, I had my own media business before this.
Yep.
And Pete and a bloke at the time, Ryan, asked me to come along and do a photo shoot of this thing. I was like, how have I never heard of this company before?
Yeah.
Doing the photo shoot, I was blown away with it. It was just something I've never seen before.
Yeah.
It's another cruiser, but
Yeah.
even the bar, you don't get that bar.
So that was about a week and a bit after Tom filmed it in Palm Creek in Cape Yorker.
If you fast forward about halfway, you'll see the hit that.
Did a bit of damage to
Go
it.
back a little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. I've stuffed you up here. Here we
Yeah,
go.
it is.
You'll hear the hit on this thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whoops.
But that's what you build them for.
Wow. Yeah, I've been a bit. I don't know if it's luck or just. Yeah, it's probably just luck. I can't really come up with anything else. But I've still never broken anything off road. Never
Yeah,
popped
right.
a tire. Never broken a
wow.
bead. Nothing.
You must have known the cruisers, and then this thing's broken everything.
Yeah, only when I take Dylan.
Yeah.
When I take my youngest son, he's
Yeah.
back into it all the time.
Yeah, I think I've said it that many times on here. There's a part of me that kind of, I think because I got into four-wheel driving later in life.
Yeah.
I
A
just,
bit more responsible. And
yeah.
I got to pay for this.
Yeah,
This ain't cheap.
that's
Yep.
the big one. Like I've said it a heap of times. I'm like, I'll look at a hill and go like, "Fuck, what's this going to cost me if it goes wrong?"
So that's how it started off. If you go back to that previous photo,
I was going to say that's a big lift to start. No, is it? What lifts in that there?
3 inches. 3 inches and
Okay.
35s.
Yeah.
Yep.
well, you may as well speak about the process here.
So
That was before it got repainted, yeah.
So to clarify this, it's not just the rear ends. You guys do the complete builds as well.
Yeah, you do.
We can. It's not
Not
something
what
we usually do.
Yeah, but if someone came down and went like, "I loved that truck. Can you make me one?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the respray.
Yeah, that's after I got resprayed.
Which the reason for it's a bit interesting, but
yeah, because I still had the dual cab at the time,
Right.
and I put the clear view mirrors on it, and sitting in the car, I'm thinking I got to lean back to have a look out the mirrors. This is not right.
Yeah.
Getting the dual cab, no, it's all good. And I worked out that the mirrors are nearly 200 mil back
on a single cab.
on the single cab, and I went
Right.
I said no, I don't like that. So I moved them 200 mil forward and drilled new holes, and
Yeah.
had holes obviously where I didn't want them.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I'm going to fill them up and get the doors resprayed. They've got to do the front part of the front guard to blend it anyway.
Yep.
There's only a bonnet and a roof to go.
True.
Let's just respray the whole thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just went a different red, and
It is the nicest colour I've seen in a car.
It's
so nice.
It's a really deep red.
yeah,
It's like a burgundy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has it got a metallic in it? Or is it just really
I
glossy?
think there is a metallic. No, just because that was still at the spray painter shop,
Yeah, okay.
so that hadn't just been done.
Yeah, my eyes aren't great from all the bloody, non PPE, but
Yeah.
it looks like you almost could have a little bit of a silver metallic in there, real fine one, or a silver pearl or something over it.
But yeah, if it's a bit overcast, it nearly looks black.
Yeah. Yeah.
That with all the pinstripes.
Yeah, now it's got a pinstripe there.
Yeah, that just builds character.
Yeah.
Well, that's what people want to see. Like at the show,
Yeah.
you'll hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's used."
I've had people going,
Yep.
did you rub a brush on this morning on the side of it? It's like,
Yeah,
no, it's when it was leaning up against a tree, but sure.
Yeah,
So, that's a nice layout. I like that.
There's probably more of the rear end conversion as well in here. Oh, that's a tray.
Oh, you go back one, Shawnee. I like seeing stuff raw.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
So that's got your fuel tank in the headboard as well.
yeah. There's 100
Additional?
180 litres in the headboard
Yep.
on one side,
All
and on the other
baffles with the
side,
holes through it.
the other side's got the spare wheel, because you want the weight where it should be.
Yeah.
You don't want it on the arse end.
Nah.
Because with the cruisers, you got to take spare wheel. Well, I mean, most cases you can have a rear drawer at the back.
Yeah.
And on the cruisers, that's where the spare wheel sits. So you got to take it off.
Yep.
So all that weight hanging off the back, you may as well throw it forward.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, it's all in house in the headboard.
That's the good part about what you're doing with the happy to do the sort of one-off stuff though, is because it's like you can have these conversations and go,
This is why.
where are you? Where do you want to end up?
Yeah,
It's just like a much just a huge, bigger scale than what we do.
Yeah.
But it's having that conversation going like, what's the goal? Because sometimes we've had the conversations with people and they come in and they go like, I want this lift, I want these tires, and you have that. All right, but where are you going?
Yeah.
yeah.
And at the end of it, you're like, okay, well, you don't want muds.
100%.
Yeah,
Where a lot of places don't do that. They'll just build what you want. And I've had a lot of conversations of where you're going with it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just me work ute, or we're going to go and do the Gibb River Road and the Tanami track and go, yeah, righto.
Yeah.
So we need to make this so it doesn't fall apart.
Yep. Yeah, that's tidy as.
That's so sick.
That's like that's a much more upgraded version of the one that I built last year. Except I Raptor everything.
Yeah.
Anything that'll sit still long enough.
Yeah. Yeah,
Is
so that's got the same bag system as what we had in the dual cab. So it's got your rolling sleeve bags instead of coils. Auto leveling as well.
Yeah.
Flick it over to manual so you can adjust it manually.
Yeah.
Lift it up and down, which people think is a bit of a gimmick and stuff, but
And then when you drive it,
you'll
get
never
in it,
drive something
it's
that's more
just-
comfortable.
Yeah. What are you doing with the rear ends for them as far as all the extra weight for? Are you doing because obviously
That's got a GVM. It's got a 4.2.
Yeah, but I mean like the diff and all that sort of stuff because I know everybody knows that the wheel track's retarded.
Yep.
So what are you guys doing? Anything special down
That's
there?
got a
for
true tracker in it.
that? Okay, right.
Yeah.
And a brace diff. Front rear. Yeah.
Yep.
Saber gear. The twin giggles is always a great one.
Yeah, the red arc controller inside the cab as well as one in the canopy.
Well, that PVS gear seems to have come a long way.
I've seen a lot of ads for that lately. Yeah. Yeah.
It's I haven't had one in one of my personal cars at all, but I think I'm pretty keen on putting one in the next build. I like the chunkier sort of steering wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels better in your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Like driving the old Kingswoods and stuff like that back in the day when they had that bloody Macca's straw friggin' thin thing.
It's the auto in it.
Yeah, very cool. So you had all that history, and then you decided, you're going to have a crack doing something different for yourself.
Just started dabbling in it.
Yeah.
And then it went from there.
Yeah.
Just doing straight custom stuff.
Yep.
And then we got Tom on board after we did the video shoot.
Yeah.
Tom put something up on his socials saying that he's going to get out of what he's doing.
Okay.
So I armed and hard and approached Tom and went from there.
You originally said part-time. I was like, no, you're stupid.
And then, just grew the socials.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about these days is socials.
Yeah.
If you're not on socials, you're nowhere.
Yeah, we didn't bother doing anything for ages, and then it was like, fuck, really probably should have. Because that was, everything we were doing from the beginning was the same. It was repeat and referral, which is all custom stuff because, someone sees something that someone's done or whatever. Yeah. And that's where you get your next, inquiry or whatever. So we didn't worry about doing any social. So, when we started, we started seeing a bit of growth recently, but it's been a bit of a battle because I think like COVID, everybody exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody that was doing stuff just went mental.
Yeah.
And since then, it's like the algorithm went, whoa, calm down. And
that's what I was doing like previously was for a lot of other companies. And they didn't have their own in-house and stuff like that. I was like, that's where you're losing it.
Yeah.
Like that's where you can't be on top of something that's happening right now. And that's what you need that product out there to sell it.
Yeah.
If you can't take photos or videos of it,
you're
not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So ever since we started really focusing on socials, it just boomed, just exploded. And it's just quotes flooding.
Yeah.
And we got away from the custom.
Got away from the custom stuff and the engagement, like, videos over 3 or 4 mil or 5 mil on some videos just from airing down a cruiser, like, but it's just more people seeing your product.
Yeah.
And it was just the biggest turning point, I think, for the trays and canopy side of thing.
Yeah.
Because back still before we started doing the social stuff, I mean, the jobs that you were doing were repeat referral stuff, for, say, the Chevy 1500 with the crane in it, like just those one-off builds just to make the customer happy, and then they come back straight away. Like,
yeah. A lot of them were because other companies said no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that,
so is that
crane one.
Yeah, the 1500 Ram
Yep.
with the crane and that in for the disabled wheelchair and stuff like that. People said, you can't do that. Yeah, you can.
No,
but a lot of people can't because they don't have their own machines.
Yeah,
so that makes it very hard.
Yeah.
But we've got our own lasers and presses and everything like that, so we can do it.
Yeah. So is that still something that when people like will inquire on things? So I guess that's tricky. I got too many questions. Too many questions trying to come out at once. I'll start with that. So, but you'll still do the one-off stuff. Like if people come in,
if someone wants to wait,
yeah,
and someone wants to pay,
yeah,
let's do it.
Sweet.
I still love to do it. I want to do a build that just blows people's minds,
yeah,
and do it. But people wanted your Hilux done, say, wanted something different, but they didn't want to pay for the.
They wanted it in 3 weeks.
Yeah, they wanted it in 3 weeks, and they didn't want to pay for the designers to sit there for 6 or 8 weeks to design it to start with.
Yeah.
So that's where we went. No, let's go to the standard. But if someone's got a build that they want to do, let's do it. And they got to realise it might take 12 months.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is what the price is going to be. But yeah, let's do it.
And so, because okay, so we won't drop names, but there's a lot of companies, doing stuff. I'll drop this because I found this out a while ago. My belief is that MW was doing some bigger names stuff that were apparently doing it themselves.
Yep.
I think it started with a D from memory. Done and someone. Maybe. Could be wrong. Don't sue me. But that's what I'd heard through the grapevine that and it's like they're literally just paying for the name. It's like going to get a set of Dunlops and sticking a Nike sticker on it and going, these are $500. What's for the average everyday punter that wants to do a rear end on a ute? What are they looking for in the quality of the job? And I mean, obviously, this is probably an open-ended question, but what can they go and see on yours? And you don't have to drop names.
Yeah.
But so you go to somewhere else and you go, well, that's fucking what they were talking about. I don't want that.
Yeah. Some of the people don't see it. They can't see it because they don't know what they're looking at.
That right.
If
Okay.
you're not in the game, you can't see it all.
Okay.
A lot of the stuff you're talking about, material thickness is one.
Right.
They use a thinner grade,
Okay.
so that's how you get your prices down.
And what does that cause as far as an issue for the end user?
Structural.
Okay. Right.
We have bracing in ours, roof, floor, walls, corner bracing. They don't.
Right.
So a lot of them crack.
Yeah, that's one thing you do see a little bit is the cracks up the sides of them, and like they don't look all that old.
A lot of that starts from just how it mounts in the first place. So just a chassis rail, for example,
Yeah.
like we use a steel chassis rail for that reason. It's a bit more flexible,
Yeah.
a bit more, say, user friendly almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with the huck bolts. You know, it's an aluminium base huck bolted to a steel chassis
With glue in between.
with glue in between to stop any electrolysis and the two materials coming too close together.
Yeah. Dissimilar materials.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you want a drink? You good?
I'll have another one,
Yeah,
thank
I'll
you.
have one.
Because at the end of the day, chassis flex. If you've got everything welded together,
Yeah.
you know,
Especially these new cars have got a lot more in them than the old ones.
Yeah. And there's a lot more people going and doing things. There's a lot more people going and do Cape York or the Gibb River Road or whatever. Cheers, mate.
Oh,
yeah, just coming here today that we saw a Navara that's pretty much on its last legs.
Yeah.
That was bent to hell.
It must be over here from the south side. No, at least it wasn't a Triton.
Yeah, it won't get started.
No. I think again, there's too much. So you decided to just have a play, get into it, do what you're doing.
Yep.
You've come on board and basically shined a very bright light on what is happening there. Where do you see it sort of going from here now? Because you're into the canopies, you're into the rear ends, and you're doing the production stuff now as well.
Yep. Still doing that. Still trying to grow both.
Yep.
Trying to grow the manufacturing as well as the trays and canopies.
Yes.
And that's also been the hardest thing that people probably haven't realised.
Yeah.
Is the trays and canopies is actually the smaller part of the business.
That's what I mean though. Like the larger, bigger, heavier sort of component of what you're doing. It's like, is that? Well, I guess you already answered it. You're trying to grow both, but it's like the concept of what you're doing. I mean, obviously, trays and canopies is, it's a hot topic. It's full driving. It's everywhere. So that's going to generate
and
a lot of
manufacturing in
noise.
Australia is tough
Yeah.
because it's not done. A lot of it's not done here. They take it overseas.
Do you export much? No. Okay.
We get the request every third hour, but logistically, it's just a bit of a nightmare. Fitting on vehicles that we may have never fitted to before.
Yeah.
It's also just making sure that whoever's fitting it is actually competent at doing it. Because
True.
If something breaks, you're like, well, whose fault is it really? Like, have you mounted it correctly? So that's why I've sort of just said, as long as we can fit it, like that's what we would prefer for the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, every America, Germany, all over Dubai, everywhere. It's just constant messages from those sorts of places. Because I think that's where Australia is also ahead of the field. Like if you go to America now to the expos, the outdoor expo shows, like if you've got Australian made on your product, you're selling.
Really?
Yeah. Because they're just...
I would say they're expensive to sell there now.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say they're... it would be actually. I wouldn't say they're behind, but they're not as into it, say, as what Australia is. Like for them, it's you go out wheeling, you trailer your Jeep there, and you go stay in the cabin.
It's just that's their kind of version of it.
Yeah.
So I think there was one. There was 100 series I saw on a build that was at SEMA. Not in person, but it was at SEMA a few years ago. It was a army green olive drab 100 series that had been built, and he was like, it looked like something you'd see here. It was still just a wagon, it hadn't been chopped.
Yeah.
But the cameraman or the interviewer, whatever, over there was frothing over it, and it's like, like we think it's cool, but there's no part of me that thinks that it's going to outperform a Jeep up a rock face.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, they're just doing a whole different sort of thing. But it seems like it. You know, they are starting to get a little bit into the, you know, the touring
Yep. 100%.
side. Who was talking to us about that big? Was it Jesse? No, Tony from GME was talking to us about that big American overlanding thing. There was some old.
Oh yeah, the in the man truck or something like that, and had the big camper on the back.
It was
The luxury,
fucking
like the
monstrous.
luxury, yeah.
yeah, but they're like it's a different breed. It was over $1 million American.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
There was a bird that owned it, and was supposed to get shipped from America, some part of America to some other part of America, or whatever, and it ended
somewhere
up
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she's just taken a year off and gone,
Yep.
that's all right, leave it there, and
I'll go get it. And
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be nice?
fuck off.
I have seen one video. I think it was like an influencer couple that took one of those for a drive somewhere in Dubai or something like that, and they got bogged in the sand. Actually, no, sorry, they had a tyre that blew out,
Right.
and they had to try and change it on top of a dune.
Yeah, right.
It was
Good
like
luck.
50-inch tyres or bigger than that, and they had no idea what to do. They couldn't get it off. Just stuck out there because it's just so big.
Yeah, it's the same as what we were looking at before. The screen doesn't do the stuff justice. Like, they must be just...
It's like a full house in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
It's got wine cellar and stuff in there, and shower and kitchen. Oh, it's just...
yeah. Oh, this was, like, that thing had, like mahogany floors and shit.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they're fucking big enough you'd have a robo vacuum thing.
Yeah.
Massage parlor.
Crazy stuff.
So what's the biggest sort of thing that you guys typically would deal with?
In terms of vehicle?
Yeah, like the 2500s, or do you get like, because we don't have the F truck, the 650s over here, do we?
we got to do
We've got an F450.
we got a 450. We got to do.
Right.
That'll be the biggest one we've done.
Yeah, that's still fucking enormous.
Yeah. But it's generally 2500s.
Yeah.
The Rams, the Chevs. Rams have seemed to just
have
died off.
The Chevs have taken over a bit more.
The Chevs have definitely taken over. Prices also have dropped a significant amount on them.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, because the Rams were considerably cheaper.
Yeah.
I think that's why they probably hit the ground running so much.
Yeah,
But are you saying that the Chevs have come down in price?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But then...
Because stuff's not selling as well.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, and then your Rangers, like D-Max. D-Max has actually
have gone
been
berserk.
non-stop.
Yeah.
And because they're still 70, 80 odd, like just for a D-Max.
Yeah.
Still a lot of money. Then you get your train canopy on the back of it, plus all your bar work, suspension.
Yeah, so you're over $100,000 just for a standard dual cab.
Oh, yeah.
The big investments there.
It's ridiculous.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, your American trucks is probably the biggest we'll see. We've got that F450 to do,
Yeah.
which will be a cool build. That one's gonna be pretty sick.
Yeah,
That's the first 450 you've done?
Yeah.
So are they based on the same chassis as the 250s?
No, 250 and 350 are the same. 450 is longer again.
That's when it goes big.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
And then I think from 550 and 650 are the same. I could be wrong.
I know the 650s, they just look like a truck.
Yeah, it's like a prime mover.
There's
Yeah.
one in There's one up here.
Is there really?
Yeah, it's got like just a standard 250 tub on the back. It looks strange as. It looks like a truck just with a U tub on the back.
Yeah. That's just,
Yeah,
that
with
sounds dumb.
the stacks out the side.
Yeah.
It just looks stupid.
Yeah, right. That's,
Super singles and
that's different.
yeah.
Each to their own, I guess.
That's right.
So what's some of the stuff that you guys have got coming up? Because I know we were talking on the phone earlier, well, originally, with all the social media and stuff like that. What is it that you guys are pushing with that? Are you going to sort of get into your own kind of show? Like, where are you going with all that?
It's sort of just going where it's going at the moment. We've got a few builds coming up, and then focusing now on the standard stuff massively. So it's really just consistently getting the name out there.
But are you doing like a build series kind of thing? Like, you're going to
We
start?
were to start with on YouTube. There's probably 30 odd episodes of build rundowns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But as stuff's become more standard, it's just the same thing
same,
over and over again.
Yeah.
And time as well. Like, we haven't had a lot of time. A lot of the stuff a lot of builds actually aren't even on our socials. Like, we're only really posting the stuff that we actually just have time to actually film and photo. Otherwise, it's gone a truck back to a dealer. You got a customer ready to pick it up to literally go straight onto their trip.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a few of the builds. So 79 being broken again.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, there you go. That's what you need to do. You need to get out and where's that?
The broken one?
No, the third one over, the 1940.
Oh, there. Where was that? That was out in, I can't even remember now, Bunyip
right.
State Forest. So, yeah, took the cruiser out for a wheel and Steph's Navarro from off main and put the 2 and 2 together. Wasn't really anything too hectic, but
Wasn't hard.
No, it's just a bit of fun, though.
Yeah, exactly right. Getting out there.
Yeah.
And then, there's a few builds in there. So, actually, that one, the scanning the patrol is actually a cool build. So, that's with AIC, Automotive Innovation Centre. Do all the 3D scanning for vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's on our extra cab patrol that we've got,
Yep.
which was a bit of a passion project of Pete with his sons.
Yeah, I built that with the kids. We still are building it with the kids.
Yeah. So, there's a few photos in that folder of that extra cab. But that's pretty much the scanning process and how they scan a vehicle, essentially.
So when you're dealing with like is it R&D, like in the beginning when you haven't done anything yet and you're starting with from nothing?
Yep.
Do you go through that? That's what you use them for, to get a base for you've got the CAD scan?
Yeah, so you get all your mounts and
Yeah.
know where your wheels and tyres are and everything like that, and you just start building it from there.
So if there's a new vehicle coming to the market, they're the ones that would typically, they actually strip everything.
They strip the
apart.
whole car back to bare chassis and scan everything.
Like, so on the new
Wow.
Prado, engine out, interior,
The
whole lot.
Yeah,
Body off the chassis, scan the chassis individually. Yeah.
So any aftermarket person, business, whatever the case may be, can approach them and get a file for the front to build a bull bar or something inside or a tray or whatever they want. Yeah.
But speaking,
That's crazy. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. Speaking with Jack from AIC, it's just like, you can do it yourself. You got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you need the vehicle there. You need the scanner. You need someone who knows what they're doing. Or you go to AIC, who go to that level of detail to pull apart the entire car. So, the file you've got works. And every time, every new build we've done, it's just bolted
So
straight
don't get
on.
test fitted on a car.
No.
So it lines up on your scan.
Yeah.
Build it from that, and
That's nuts.
Yeah.
What do they go and buy the cars and then tear them apart, get all their scans and sell them?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
They got like Toyota 86s, Mustangs,
it's not just 4-wheel drive.
Tundra.
It's everything.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but there's some pretty cool photos of the new Prado, and it was just like in 1 week they had every component out of the car, like all on a table, engine, injectors,
Everything.
gearbox, everything.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Your car's literally getting built twice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. No, it's pretty cool.
I gotta look into that more. That's just nuts.
They'll have it on their socials probably.
Yeah,
So,
right.
Yeah.
Wow. I did not even know that. I've seen them where, engine bays and, they might strip them back a little bit to get some stuff for mounts for an airbox or whatever. But, God, back to the chassis.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. And then, for the customer, we don't have to ask them to come in and test fit their tray or go put the tray and go, it doesn't fit. Like, we just know every time it's going to be spot on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the latest car that we've done, but the F-150, actually. F-150 was the first sort of new build we've done for a while that's not using the same chassis or body.
Yeah.
And it just bolted on straight away.
So you take that file. So someone comes to you, we'll just lay this out so I understand it as well. I come to you and we've got a rig that you haven't done before.
Yep.
So you can get that file off
That's
them.
if they've got it. If they haven't got it,
Right.
we can take the car there.
Yeah.
They'll take the tub off it.
Or they generally would source one as well.
Yeah. Scan it
Yeah.
and then send us a scan data.
And so you can take that scan that goes into your program with all your 3D modeling and with all the 3D modeling and everything, so that you can have a rendering
Yep.
prior to you even cutting the first piece, and gaps and everything.
Yep. And that goes, and before anything of that happens, there's a render goes to the customer as well to show them what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Every customer will get a drawing of their build to make sure that that's what they want.
Yeah.
Space, back when we used to do the custom stuff, it would show you some customers wanted a higher headboard.
Yeah.
you know, and you're like, yep, it's going to sit quite high. Here it is. Here's it on the vehicle, so you can see actually how high it is.
Yeah.
The hard thing is you can't really show it in person. Like, it's only on a drawing that's either off their phone on a computer.
Yeah.
But yeah, AIC every time. It's just, yeah, so that the extra cab, because it was a wagon, there's no factory tray mounting for a wagon.
No.
So we had to take it there, take the tray that was on it off, and they scan it, and tray just fits straight on.
Yeah, that'd be the only tricky part for doing, because I've gone down this path a couple of times thinking about doing rear end setups for like chopped 80s and that sort of stuff. But you're like,
Every one will be different.
yeah. Because you don't even know what kit they've used as
Exactly.
a tray mount kit,
That's right.
or chassis brace, or
Or
whatever.
they just close their eyes and go, oh, yeah, we'll just put it there.
A lot of places these days
Yeah.
too don't want to touch that dual cab stuff unless it's been stretched. Like the amount of weight people are putting on the back now as well, and then hanging 2 spare wheels off even further. So it's a lot of weight.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy, but and then that's the only other drama too. That's why the more I do them, the more I like chopping them down to a single cab.
Yeah.
It's like single / extra, but more single.
Yeah.
Because they also look better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
Should we pull up the extra cab photos? That you'll like this, I think. It's just the perfect cab mount.
Yeah.
And it's just literally a dual cab tray.
Yeah.
I think it was going to Hilux, and we said, no, they'll fit on there, and just dropped it straight on. It's for a dual, it's like it was chopped for a dual cab tray.
Yeah.
But it came up, it came up smick.
Yeah, it's tricky. The 80s especially. The 80s and the GUs.
There you go.
Yeah, see, that's nice. They still look stubby.
And that's what was after. I was after short and fat.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I know, like the biggest drama I've seen with the dual cabs in the GUs 1 through 4 and like the 80s and that is when it's a dual cab and they don't have what you were saying, like, you know, you go back too far and it's, you know, whatever, but they look stumpy in the ass, you know. So, but that just looks like short and tough.
Yeah. So it's a 1750 tray long. So it's
Really?
just your Hilux dual cab. That's your sort of standard dual cab. And that pretty much finishes in line with the tow bar.
Wow.
I can't even remember what's in that. There's probably a water tank in there. And
There's a water tank in the headboard and underneath.
I like all
cool.
that. Can you zoom in on that, Shawnee? Oh, it doesn't matter. That'll work. The headboard, how you've got that extra little...
Your chamfer.
contour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's little stuff like that doesn't jump out straight away, and the way that I'm guessing it's about a 45-degree angle front comes down on that sort of triangle, not all the way down.
Yep. Just to soften it. Square edge looks too harsh.
Yeah,
Just softens things.
Everyone does the box tube.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, it just suits the vehicle a lot more.
Yeah.
Probably more, not necessarily in that. That's just your standard dual cab headboard. Like that's just off a Hilux. You chuck that on a Hilux, it's a little bit wider. It just makes it look really nice. It's just not just flat piece of sheet, you know.
So that's that headboard is your standard style headboard for the Hilux.
Yep. Hilux, Cruiser.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Cruiser ones are a little bit
No,
taller.
Cruiser's a bit taller.
But it's still the same. Still looks exactly the same, just a little bit taller.
Yeah, but you've just obviously gone to that bit more effort to.
Yeah, so that tray,
dress it up.
that tray was going on a Hilux, and we just ripped the chassis rails off. We had to make custom ones, obviously, to suit the
mounts.
tray mounts, and then obviously design
And then front boxes.
boxes and stuff like that. And
I think we might have to get one of your trays on my 80. I'm looking at that now. I'm like, mine's not looking so good anymore.
And you touched on something before saying about your steel trays will handle a bit of abuse.
That was my theory.
Yeah, so do they. Because we had a customer do the same.
Okay.
He wanted, when we were doing the custom, it was a customer from a previous life. We did a heap of engineering stuff for him years ago. And he come back and had a single cab Cruiser and demanded to have a steel tray.
Right.
I said, you don't want it. Nah, it's stronger, it's this, it's that. I said, you don't want it, it's too heavy.
yeah, it was.
He's going to kill me for
was
saying
heavy.
this. He'll know who it is.
Right.
And so we built it for him. Yeah, cool. No dramas.
Yeah.
And 6 months later, he rang up and said, oh, no, can I have an alley one because this is too heavy? I said, I told you.
Yeah.
I can't remember the weight difference too. It was a fair bit.
It was a lot. A couple hundred kilos.
It was a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing though too. Like when you're doing the chop, it's like how much are you getting rid of? So it's like that 80 that we got downstairs or next door at the moment. Like we've removed like when you get a dual cab come in, you go, okay, I'm taking a tub off and I'm putting all this extra shit on. But when we're doing the chop, it's like I've taken half the vehicle away. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, so you got a bit. I think you got a little bit more room to play with. But I think I started with the steel trays and all the alley bolt-ons because I couldn't fucking weld alley.
Yeah.
So I was like,
it's a different beast.
Yeah. I'm all right now. I can MIG it. I still can't TIG it. It's like fucking scratching you. What do you do?
Yeah.
And then add a foot. Nah.
Yeah. And MIG and TIG, everything's TIG.
Everything's TIGged.
Yeah, see, I can MIG up a storm now, but I fucking can't TIG.
And leaving the welds on.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
Be proud of it. You know, leave them on. People want to see the dimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, if you're grinding them off, what are you hiding?
Yeah.
You know, and it weakens it.
True.
You know, where we do grind, like on the guards there, it's all ground, but it's all welded on the backside.
Yeah, you've got
they don't crack.
front and back, yeah.
But that's the little things that you don't get on some of the others.
No.
And
And
it all takes time, and time is money.
Yeah. I had a set of guards in here that were raptoring for, well, the old shop, but they were raptoring for somebody, and they were from a second tier kind of place. And the front, where the same sort of thing, like where the folds were, had been ground flat. But when you flip it over, you do all the paint prep, you're expecting weld on the back, but there wasn't.
No.
There was a gap in the alley because they hadn't welded the back. So I'm like, you've ground the front off, and the back's got a gap in the alley in the sheet. I'm like, there's not much holding that guard together. That's got to be like a mill.
Not long before it starts to crack.
Yeah.
And then when you go chuck canopy, internals,
Yeah.
spare wheel, rooftop tent, like it adds up
Absolutely.
real quick. Like dual cab tray, you're looking pretty much tub replacement, including your drawer and your water tank.
Yeah.
So you're not really increasing weight too much. It's then when you chuck the canopy on, chuck your drawers in, fill your drawers
because everybody wants the canopy full of gear,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and they wonder why they're overweight.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's that.
I used to have a full size canopy, like 15, or I can't remember, it was 1600.
Yeah.
I'll never have one again. Just the missus just stuffing everything in there, holding it, close the door shut, and you're like, half the stuff we don't even use.
Yeah.
800, 1100 will pretty much do the exact same thing these days.
Yeah.
Three swag in the back or firewood in the back of the tray. And
Yeah, we've spoken about that, me and my lady, a couple of times of doing, pardon me, just, the sort of 8-ish hundred.
Yeah.
You know,
That's getting a 900, just enough for a fridge drawer in it,
yeah, that's all I want.
and a shelf and a drawer on the other side. That's all you want.
Yeah, just enough for a day run kind of.
Yeah, you're going to do your
food.
weekends.
Yeah.
2 or 3 days, heaps.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think we were talking about this a while ago about doing a toy hauler. Have you ever thought about getting into them? I've hit a fucking nerve.
That's a touchy subject, that one.
Is it?
Yeah, watch that one go away the other day.
Yeah. Now I built one, and then started to build another one, and things got busy and never did
Actually,
it.
that's photos I don't have
Of the first one.
of the first one.
With the dual cab.
Yeah.
It was all matching. It was all same colour.
That's
same
cool.
headboard. I had fuel in the headboard of the toy hauler with a pump, with a fuel pump. And just,
Might be on the photos on Facebook, but a long time ago. But yeah, that was before my time. I was there, but that was it looks sick.
Yeah.
Like the photo of that car,
and that was when we first started doing it, and I went away hunting, and I had me buggy and stuff on the toy hauler, and I was wondering why people were videoing me going down the highway. I'm like, what's these people's problem? What have I got something hanging off the
Because
car
you're
or whatever?
famous.
What?
Yeah.
Like
I
the
didn't
airport
understand
today.
it.
Yeah.
Because it's just a car and a trailer to me.
Yeah. Yeah, but how long ago was that?
Oh, that'd be 6 years ago.
Yeah, you sort of just pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dawn of the influencer.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's got a camera and a fucking YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love
Says
to.
the bloke with a camera and a YouTube channel.
But yeah, I'd love to do toy haulers.
Yes.
Watched that chassis drive away the other day in the back of the
The
truck.
proper one, sitting on airbags, and
Yeah. Yeah, we have.
that you can take down gunshot and all that. That's what I always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Take a toy hauler down gunshot, and people are like, why? Because you can.
Yeah. Yeah, we come up with a bit of a design for one a while ago, but it was nothing like that.
Yeah. But you're getting your own stuff built gets in the way of customer stuff, so you got to do customers first, and your stuff just gets pushed and pushed behind. And
Yep. That's why that 80 hasn't changed in about 6 months.
yeah,
Because it's like, it's literally all we've got to do is build the tray and put the interior back in. But it's, you know,
That's where it takes time. That patrol took, what, a year?
yeah.
It was just a year with a factory Toyota tray on the back of it
yeah.
before it actually got what it was meant to get.
Yeah.
Why didn't I think of that? I should have just put a fucking factory trailer that could have been driving the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, then I'm like, oh, it's got a train out.
Then it stays there. You don't do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fuck.
I'm driving it, so
I hated looking at that thing every day. If when you drove the patrol and just with a factory Toyota tray at the front, going, oh,
yeah.
we've got to get to that.
I just found a pair of guards because I had no guards on it. I just found a pair of guards in the shop.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they'll do. Just tech screwed them on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's go.
didn't even fit the tyres either.
Yeah, no.
Bit of
Couldn't
scrub.
flex it. It was just scrub straight away and cut them. Yeah.
Have you got anything on your list of things that you would want to build that you haven't done yet?
Oh, here we go.
I wouldn't mind doing a ZR2,
Right.
supercharged.
Okay.
Yeah.
For what sort of style of build?
Just for touring.
Okay.
Pulling a big toy hauler.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
It's a
'Cause
perfect touring car, isn't it?
Wow. Yeah. You're not gonna.
Supercharged V8 and
It's just so you can keep the fuel up.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got fuel in the headboard, in the side rails,
It's a bit harder when
in the
it's-
rear drawer.
Yeah.
So normally the fuel in the headboards are diesel, so they're easy to deal with. When you're dealing with petrol, it's a bit harder because you've got expansion and
What is it? Diesel doesn't expand when it's hot.
it does not that much.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
There it is.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So
Yeah,
that's-
see that we had. I didn't have things under toolboxes under mine, but we had basically like that. But the canopy at the front was a bit taller, and we had the rooftop tent on it.
Yep.
That's how we were trying to do ours, and it was not one of those big Polaris things, but it was like the little like quad bikes.
Yes.
Having like a pair of them or
Yep.
a racks so you could sort of set up having your jet skis on it, something that was low enough that you could still have your canopy and your rooftop tent. But that's no wonder you were getting all these like fucking I don't know white people looking at me.
Yeah, it was all colour coded and
Fucking fire truck driving down the road with a buggy on the
I
back.
sold that trailer. That's got 450 mil chassis rails, 2 C sections welded together. We fabricated
Yeah, right.
450 hot, and I sold that to a bloke in northern Queensland that tows a bobcat on dirt roads, and he said everything I've had hasn't lasted, and he bought that, and I seen it 12 months ago, and that was probably
Did you?
4 or 5 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
I seen it.
Is that running the A-arm suspension in that? Is that
That's just a rocker roller suspension in that.
right? Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, you cop some. That'll be that's a long setup. That's the dual cab in front of that, the 400 mil stretch we did.
Are you guys doing the extensions as well?
No,
No. Okay.
We just did that one.
just that one.
Right. Yeah,
That
but
was-
you know what they say.
that
Once
was-
you've done one,
Yeah. You want to do one in a 2.8?
Or I could do I'd like to do a V8 on portals with airbags.
okay, yeah,
Stop it.
yeah, that'd be a bit of fun. It's enough to get you
Can
in
you
and out
do
of
that?
trouble.
I don't think that's.
It's engineers telling you whether you can or can't.
I don't know. I think there's 1 or 2 portal coiled cruisers going around. I don't think there's that many, if not any.
I don't know.
I've
So
heard
it's-
someone's trying to do it.
Yeah, because I've always heard you can't.
Well,
Well, what did we say about
We'll just-
can't? Yeah, there you
I'll
go.
just buy up a truck,
Well, you know, you should fucking start with an 80 series, and at least you're in the right family.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Put a VDJ in the front of that.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what else is happening? What's going on down your end of the world? Are you doing the filming and everything as well, or what's your sort of main role now?
That's a good question, that. So essentially everything. So I do the quotes, marketing, socials.
You're right.
So generally, if a customer's calling up, emailing, they're talking to me.
Yeah.
This is an industry I've been in all my life.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time, a lot of the people that either come in are new to it, so they've never had a train canopy before. They don't know what they're looking at. And it's, as Pete said, it's always finding out what they're going to use it for first.
Yeah.
Find out an idea. If they don't know, I don't find that's an issue, but I generally tell them to have a think about it. Is it just a weekender? Is it just a work car? Are you going to go to Gibb River Road? And then we have a good partnership with Ultimate Off-Road, who work very closely with us, who are now also selling us stuff as well. So you can get your full build through them.
Right.
So your bar work. It's something that we don't really have the capacity for. in terms of installing bar work, suspension, all that sort of stuff. So they do all that for us, and then you can get your tray and canopy, power, everything through them as well.
Yeah.
But generally, finding out what they want. If it's for work, cool. You may not need all of the kitchen induction fridges and stuff because half the time you're probably just not going to use it.
Yeah.
Or if they're going to do the Gibb River Road, it's all right. You're probably going to need this suspension. You're going to need this bar work. You're going to need this inside because it's all stuff that we've done.
Yeah.
It's what everyone in the shop loves to do. It's getting out on the weekends, and it's a beauty of finishing on a Friday at 12:30, so we can go away on the weekends and start our weekend on a Friday afternoon.
Hell yeah.
Getting a jump on everyone else.
Which is the best. Yeah, which is very handy. Yeah.
You've got a bit of background with some of the shows that people would know.
Yep. Yeah, I've done a lot of that stuff in the past for big businesses as well.
Yeah.
Doing socials and photography and sort of working with these companies. I try to align myself with the companies that have a good, what can you say, have good intentions, essentially trying to sell the best product to a customer and they believe in it. And yeah, when I first started at Wigley, actually, I think it was in the first 5-10 minutes, I was just like, I'll tell you straight up what I think of the joint.
Yeah.
If you like it, don't worry. And I think we shook hands straight after that. And ever since, it's been sort of just focusing full drives, focusing on, there's a whole other team that focus on the other side of the business as well. But this has sort of turned into Pete's passion, has sort of turned into now, a massive undertaking. Just trying to deliver a high quality product that's really not as expensive as what people think is the biggest thing.
Yeah,
because there's machinery that is probably 3-4 times the size of some other places, and
because of the engineering background.
It's a lot of stuff you'll see on the trays and canopies has actually come from 20, 25, 30 years ago of an innovation back then, which is still just as relevant today.
It's like the bracing and all the corner bracing that we do. It's a no-brainer.
Because you're dealing with...
Because we've done it,
Yeah. And I was previously a chippy, and I was carrying big loads on my roof, and I go look at 45-degree angle bracing in the roof. I'm like, that's what you need. Anyone could put a rooftop tent on the top, but it's not the weight down, it's the weight forwards and backwards.
Yeah, and all the inertia when you stop and turn,
and that's where you need the bracing. And you're relying on a few MIG welded welds here and there. No, it's got to be huck bolted. It's got to have 45-degree angle bracing, bit of TIG in there as well.
Yeah.
To make it, super, super strong.
And some of the disadvantages of that is it gets a little heavier because you've got more components in there.
Yeah, but it's still only alley.
Yeah, but it does add up.
Yeah.
And the best thing now is our chassis rail. Say in your dual cab trays, our chassis rail will have all the mounting points for every vehicle on the market. Most of them.
Yep.
I think bar Triton.
Yep.
Sorry, Triton owners. Your LDVs or any stuff that's not as common, but your D-Max, Hilux, Ranger, Navara.
Yeah, real four-wheel drive.
BT50, real four-wheel drives. You'll have every mounting hole in the chassis rail. So you can buy your tray, you sell your Ranger, you go buy a Hilux, that tray will just come off. Because at the end of the day, do you really want to go spend all that money again?
Yeah, no, hell no.
Probably not.
Because it is a big investment.
Oh, sit you. Especially when they're starting from a point of, like you said, 70, 80, 90 grand for a stock one.
Yeah.
G'day, legends. To help support the brands and support us, get onto our website and check out who we've chosen to partner with. For everything custom 4x4 and accessories, visit wildsidegarage.com. While you're there, don't forget to check the links for the discount section, where you can get 10% off brands like Carbon Off-Road, MAXTRAX, and In-House Fabrication. Remember to like and subscribe to help us grow the channel and bring you even more from Wildside.
So, other than the wannabe four-wheel drives, all the main models are all compatible with the mounts that you've got.
Yep.
Right.
So essentially, it's a 5mm steel chassis rail, which
3mm chassis.
Oh, it's 3mm. Sorry, 5mm mounting feet.
Typical male overselling the size.
With all your holes for every type of vehicle, they're all relatively the same, but they're slightly different.
Yeah.
50mm, I think.
Yeah, there's
A couple of models
there's
are the
not
same,
a lot in
there's
it.
another couple of models
Yeah,
are the same.
so all your Rangers and Hiluxes are pretty much exactly the same in terms of like body to center wheel guard at the back.
Really?
Yeah. There's only about 50
that's
on it.
deceiving.
Yeah, and then your Cruiser's just typical. It's just completely different.
Yeah, well.
because the chassis is narrow in the rear, which makes it difficult.
Did they fix the chassis?
Nah.
Even in the new one?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I reckon
I think a bit of influences from aftermarket people with that
100%.
because they're making a fortune.
100%.
Well, yeah, there's that too. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Ah, the light bulb. Okay, fair enough.
But generally, 3mm steel chassis rail, and then you got 5mm mounting plate, which has 5 bolts up the side, but all the weight of the chassis rail sits on that mount on a gusset.
It's not on the shear of the bolts.
Right, okay.
But you're not,
You do see.
you're not relying on a bolt shear strength, which is not designed for. All the weight sits on the gusset of the tray mount.
Okay.
So essentially, you spend your 50 odd grand for a train canopy with everything, or obviously it's a lot cheaper, 20 odd grand for an empty train canopy sort of setup. You use it on your Ranger or your Hilux, and you go, you know what, time to buy a new car, tray off, buy the mounts, tray on, you continue going.
That's pretty cool.
And that's purely, with how much we back our product, it's you buying it once for,
It's not a throwaway.
however long.
No.
If you have to think about, I've got to buy a new train canopy, I think you bought the wrong setup.
Yeah, right.
So it's a bolt on, take it off, buy your Hilux, buy your Navara, buy your D-Max, whatever.
Yeah.
Bolt it straight into the next car. Off you go on your adventures for again. You got the same setup that you've had for ages. You know how it works. You know all that time and effort's gone into it.
Yeah, it's the fit outs, the bit for the customer, make the phone call, pay the cash, you guys do all the work. But then it's the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months of personalising.
Yeah, 100, everyone does it.
Yeah.
And what I found a lot lately actually is a lot of empty canopies because obviously it's all modular. So in the floor, it's all modular. People go out and use it, and then we have people buying fridge surrounds, buying pantries, buying drawers, and they're just fitting it out themselves as they go along.
Yeah.
And it's just 4 bolts straight into the floor.
There's a lot of them,
into
it's
the
their
channel.
first time. So they don't know what they want.
Yes.
And we say to them, don't go and get a full build. Just get it empty or with a fridge in a drawer and go and start using it and seeing other people's builds and talking to them about what they've got.
Yes.
And going, oh, yeah, that'll come in handy and that'll come in handy. Yeah. And then you can get it rather than spending big money in something that you go, oh, I wish I never did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Because that's not the experience we want them to have.
No, and it can be when you get into it. First off, it can be like a boat. You think,
You think you need all this. The same, taking the canopy off is my favourite one.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they're going to take the canopy off.
yeah, nobody takes the canopy off.
Actually, we do have one customer,
Yes, we do.
Tim. We made him some, they're just our standard lift-off legs, and we just put 2 eyelets on either side so because he wanted to be able to take it off at camp
And sleep in it.
and sleep in it.
Right.
So we made him some a way to sort of strap it to sort of like an cross brace to make sure that it's not going to rock at all.
Yeah.
Because lucky him. And then he takes it off all the time.
Yeah.
Every time he goes away.
Really?
And the luxury with that, he's living out of it and he's got his boat with him.
That's
So he can leave that at camp or caravan
Puts his
park or
kayak on the
whatever,
tray.
Yeah.
and he can go and still do his adventures.
I remember
He loves
that
it.
conversation was like, no, you never. And every time.
Yeah.
Every photo he posts on Instagram, tag us in it, and it's him with his canopy off every time.
Yep.
Yeah, I think if you're that sort of person, I just think most of us when we get to camp, we're like, "Where's the beer?
Last
Yeah,
thing
I
on
can't
it.
be
Yeah.
bothered doing this.
Fuck, taking this thing off.
Yeah.
Like it's going to stay there.
Yeah.
But it's like people like the idea of it more than doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely saying.
And it's easy.
And who wants to lug around 4 jack-off legs? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that too
It's a
because
bit
they're not light.
No.
I don't. Yeah, because when I do my full builds, I'll do a bead rolled area in the rear wall for a window.
Yes.
So if someone down the track wants to put a window in, they've already got basically a channel, and all the bracing and everything's done close to it, so that they've got if you're going to do it, you've got a template. But I don't cut them out. I put my rear view, your rear view mirrors for your camera.
Yeah.
That click on when you go into reverse. I just put them to the accessory so they're on all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck do you need a window for?
Yeah,
I'm never going to jack the thing off.
You put a canopy on it, you can't see out it anyway.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'm just never gonna. I've never jacked a canopy off other than for cast. Nearly went down the wrong track with that word. I've never jacked a canopy off other than for customers' work.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to do because typically I've never done any touring through Melbourne, but I'm guessing anywhere where you guys go away, it's more than 5 or 10 minutes down the road.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you get there,
Yeah.
fuck setting that up. Like it's just it can stay where it is.
And if it's only for a night
There's that.
or two, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not-
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like Cancun is my favorite place up here, and it's about 4 hours. So that's not a night. I'm like I've at least a few nights I need to get up there because it's like, you get there and it's like the drive's nice. It's not like horrible,
Yep.
but I don't want to do it tomorrow. Yeah. Well, all right? What's happening down in Victoria with all this fucking? What are we doing? We're stealing fuel up here.
Yeah, because fuel's cheap up here.
Yeah, we saw
It has
saw on the way
gone
here.
down.
I saw that it was like what $1.65. I was like, oh,
Yeah, but that's like fucking weekend sniffing petrol price rubbish. That's not the Vortex and the good shit. I think
That was Shell.
no, it's sure.
Yeah, but like the 98 up here, I think 98.
Oh, we don't look at 98.
Well, yeah, but you guys are
98
mostly
is
diesel
$2.20
anyway.
for us, so it doesn't matter.
Really?
So that's what,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Diesel's $2 in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Doesn't everything into Australia come via Victoria anyway? Doesn't it come through Melbourne? Where does it come into? Sydney?
Through you blokes.
Comes through Brisbane.
I don't know. But nothing comes through.
Fucking lead me astray.
He was drinking the bubbles,
Right.
starting the fights.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, not much comes through Melbourne.
Really? Where's Canberra? That's Victoria?
Nah.
No,
No, that's
New South
Wales.
No, it is New South Wales.
New South Wales.
Fuck, I don't even know where we live. What state are we in? Oh, you got this shaking your head at me.
Shambles, apparently.
Oh, fuck.
But yeah, at the moment, Victoria's rooted.
Why? Why is that so expensive down there?
Everything's expensive in Melbourne. And most people you speak to in business are struggling.
Well, it's because everybody fucking left and moved up here.
That's one reason, yeah. But everything's so dear.
Right. I've never understood that about petrol, and I'm sure someone in the comments will fucking ream me for this, but when they buy barrels of oil, surely they don't buy enough for a half day. They'll buy shit tons. So why does the petrol price change almost like half daily or daily?
And,
You
or
don't actually bring in that much.
What do you mean that we don't bring it? No, I'm not talking about how much gets brought. I'm talking when they buy it.
Yeah.
Because what they buy is how much they've paid affects our pump price, right? If they pay more per barrel, our pump price goes up.
But they don't bring in a mega amount at one go. I think it's something like we have a couple of days storage.
Yeah,
But-
there's not a lot.
But still, if you
Cover what we have after today.
We've had times.
Really?
We've had times in Melbourne where it's like we might run out.
Yeah, we had that during
really,
even
Did
during
cut-
the floods up here recently, and because
Yeah, true. Yeah.
we had a problem where there wasn't much fuel left, so we had to actually clear the river to make sure we could get the new tankers in.
Did you have many issues with water and tanks and stuff with all those floods?
I don't know.
No.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, so we don't have
yeah.
to store much. But during COVID, I think was when they actually noticed that, and I know there's a lot more bigger silos being built
yeah.
Yeah.
around the port now to store more fuel. I guess they learnt a lot from because we don't make a lot of our own stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, we
import
don't.
a lot of stuff.
It's like our gas, we sell it overseas and buy it back for more.
Yeah, we fucking just had that
I
conversation.
think even with the oil that we drill for, we got enough to cover us.
Yeah.
But we sell it and then we
Because it's
buy
worth
it.
more.
Yeah.
It's like when we were talking to Pauline Hanson. It's like there's that much. There's these companies come over from other countries and go, oh, we'll take this land and we'll put all these jobs in and fucking, this will be great, sell us the land, and the government does it. And I said it to her, I'm like, why doesn't our government go, well, we'll do that,
Yeah.
and you can fuck off,
Yeah.
and we'll keep it all here.
Yeah.
And everybody,
Which is what we did in COVID.
yes,
And the whole country was just booming. Back like it used to be in the 80s and 90s.
yeah, we know we didn't shut for a single day. I mean,
Really?
no, not one. All my guys were just like, fuck it, we'll work.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if you're keen to come in, we'll go.
Yeah, we were lucky enough that we didn't have to shut because we were essential.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to shut
It
either.
was definitely different than up here.
Oh,
Yeah, you guys got reamed.
Oh, yeah. It's almost like I think back at it now going like, that actually happened.
Yeah.
To have
And
to
you
be
can't
home
believe
by
it.
9 o'clock.
Only you can know
Can be
so
on the
many
roads.
kilometres from home.
5 kilometres.
I knew the distance. I didn't know there was a time limit
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, you had to be.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it was a good few months too. You had to be home by 9 o'clock, and it was genuine
Curfew.
panic. Yeah,
That's
You guys were the
fucked.
most lockdown?
most lockdown in the
Yeah,
world.
yeah. In the world.
In the world.
I knew
In
it
the
was Australia, but holy
No, in the world.
shit.
So I remember.
Dictatorship.
But you had the most cases. Did
No,
you really
but it wasn't a
cases?
lot.
Oh, cases of what? Fucking colds.
No, but I think that was the lead behind why they were in so many lockdowns.
So they were said.
It's because all the
Damn
Asians were
dangerous.
flying into fucking Melbourne first.
We had I got
Where is it? Wuhan.
yeah, Wuhan.
Yeah.
I got pulled over speeding, like 5-6K over or something like that. But during COVID, you had to have worker permits.
Yep.
And
I was getting
Really?
stopped going to work and coming home from work and had to show a permit.
but I was outside my 5K zone, and because I got done speeding, my number plate's been on the scanners. And no joke of a lie, no
Joke of a lie.
no joke of a lie, whatever the saying is, no word of a lie.
No word of a lie.
There we go.
Had me fucked for a second. Yeah.
I got pulled over every day, asking where you're going. I'm like, going to work. Going home.
Work permit.
And the
From the same bloke too. It's like we had this conversation yesterday.
but
I'm
it's,
going
it's
home.
the police that were doing it. It's like go and do something else rather than just worrying about where people
It's
are coming and
just-
go.
It was riots. It was full on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, the riots were next level.
Yeah.
Getting shot with rubber bullets and
Yeah.
bean guns.
Even
and,
people
oh,
just
yeah.
walking down the streets in the city going to work, getting hit with bottles and
It was
police horses and stuff, stamping people. It was
I
chaos.
think I missed half this.
Yeah.
and you wonder
know
why
that
half of Victoria left.
Yeah.
Well, look, I knew they left, but I didn't realise it was that bad.
Yep.
It just got to a point where even for like a lot of like say younger people like me going like, I don't understand what's going on right now. It's not really something we've been through before. And going told, oh, you can't come to work. You can't do this. You have
Kids
to
couldn't
stay
go to
home.
school. They
Kids
didn't go to
couldn't
school for 8 months or so.
Yeah, no, our schools were shut for a while as well. Yeah.
Yeah. But then a lot of kids now, for that how long was it? A year?
Oh, it would have been nearly
A
a year.
year of that time, they didn't socialise. They were locked
Yeah.
A lot of kids struggling from it.
Yeah, yeah.
and you can still see those effects today. Massively.
I don't think we're anywhere near remotely close to seeing the end of the effects of that, because that's going to be.
We're still going to pay for it for a long time.
All the money that Victoria paid out is just stupid too.
Yeah,
Paying people more money
there's no earning.
than they were earning beforehand. Like if you were working at McDonald's or whatever for a couple of
Yeah.
bucks a week,
Yeah.
you were getting $7.50 from the government.
Really?
Yeah, I was an apprentice at the time, and I wasn't even earning that much.
Wow.
Yeah, instead of saying,
I was
"Oh
just
well,
like,
we'll just pay you what you've been getting," now they're getting $7.50.
Well, so they created like basically a universal basic income to.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called. Helper. I can't remember what it was now.
That'd be some idiotic fucking government name.
Yeah, but during that time, it was if you couldn't work because of COVID, you could put in a claim to get this payment.
Yeah. And now we're trying to pay it all back.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
yeah,
The government's trying to pay it back. They're not asking for it back.
Well, it's all the new land taxes that have gone through the roof.
Yeah, no, I remember there was something up here I heard, and I'm gonna fuck it up because I never really went down the path of it too much. But there was something that you were able to offset 50% of your rent in business or something like that, but you had to pay it back over X amount of time. Or I never went down the path of doing it because I think at the time when COVID first hit, we were in the little Moonby Street shop. I think we were paying $400 a week rent.
Yeah.
It was like, no, I'm good. We're busy as fuck. We'll be all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we didn't have anything remotely close to that.
Yeah.
I held off on even getting the jab until quite late. We'd been refused entry to the Eagles Hill Hotel and all sorts of stuff like that. But somebody said to me at one point, they were like, if your kid's going to hospital and you haven't
can't go
got a
and see
jab, they won't let you in.
yeah,
I went, oh, fuck. All right. Okay, well, because I don't get flu shots at all. I don't get anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was 20 years between my tetanus shots.
Yeah.
And it's like, whatever. I just let my
and that's what
body
happened
do what
in
it
Victoria is
does.
a lot of people purely just got that shot just to be able to go do something with their kids or
Yeah. Go to work.
go to work, and because that was the only way you could do
Because
it.
I was told I can't employ anyone that didn't have a shot.
Yeah, that's fucked. Like, there's got to be some fucking recall on all this shit.
Yep.
Because you don't have to answer that if you don't want to. I got the first. I got the first one. I don't think I went back to the second one. I don't know, to be on my medical file, but I don't remember going back for the second one. But we were kind of joking about the fact that it was like, it's too expensive to fucking drink out anyway. We'll buy beers and drink here. But there's been a lot of stuff with people getting these after effects of the jab and all that sort of shit.
Well, how many young people are having heart attacks and stuff now?
There was something I was reading the other day.
And athletes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of athletes and sports people and stuff and you just got to ask the question, don't you?
Yeah, there was something that I was looking at the other day, though, which is because it's got a lot to do with the food and shit as well. Because I think it was like childhood pancreatic cancer or something was up.
Yeah.
Some dumb
Because all
percentage.
the chemicals that are in the foods.
Yeah. So it's like they're just feeding us with shit. They're jabbing us with shit.
Yep.
We're listening to shit. And then the same fucking politicians get in and do the same bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's a fucking vicious cycle that feeds the top.
Yeah.
We can go down that fucking path if you'd like to. Fucking doing this show, I've had some interesting conversations with people and it's changed some perspectives. Because I'm self-admittedly, I live under a rock. Like, I go home, I go to bed, I work, I drink beers.
That's what most people do.
Very small circle.
Yep.
And yeah, it's like, if something's bad enough that it gets to my ears in the past, it's like something's pretty bad.
Yep.
Like, I think I was oblivious to COVID for probably 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
I just didn't, because I don't watch a lot of news and TV.
Yeah.
It's like, I like my shows, I like my communication, I like my circle. That's it.
And created a lot of divisions as well between families,
Oh, yeah.
friendships, like, just wearing masks. I love seeing people driving their car by themselves.
With a mask.
Wearing a
Mask
mask.
on,
I know.
Yeah. It still happens.
How's
It
that happen?
does.
It still happens.
You still see people at the shops kicking around wearing masks.
And then, I just remember me and the missus going for a walk or something like that. It got to a point where we were living you had to wear it because there would be people in public, like, telling you on you, going like, I'm going to call the cops because you're not wearing a mask.
Yeah, but if you're down there, it's a lot different. Like, I didn't wear one up here.
No, it was very different up here. But in Melbourne, if you were going for a walk, depending on where you lived,
Yeah.
you would.
And that's another thing. Melbourne was separated too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because,
Like they had the ring of steel. I think
Ring
it
of
was
Steel,
called,
yeah.
around the city or something like that.
The what?
Ring of Steel.
Ring of Steel. But if you lived in the country, you could drive through the city to go camping on the other side of the state.
But we couldn't drive
But
out
we
of the Ring of
couldn't
Steel
drive
to
out.
go and camp in the country.
Wow.
And even it was that bad. I think it was 20 Ks or 5 Ks from home.
Change 5 to 20. Yeah.
But you couldn't even go out in the bay further than your distance. And you're out there by yourself in a fucking boat. But the distance was too far.
And if
It's just retarded.
if you lived on the bay, like I live in Rosebud, which is right on the bay,
Yeah.
I could only go 5. I couldn't use 5K out to sea. So I could only go 5K from home in that sort of view from my place. And it's like it really restricted you. Yeah.
So in the beginning, when they were putting all these restrictions in, I'm sure it was pitched. Look, this is for your safety, blah, blah, blah.
Trying to stop all the deaths.
Right.
Be for a short time, it'd be for a short time, it'd be for a short time.
Yeah.
It's not
We've
flying,
got to get
not
numbers to
long.
this point. We've got to get numbers to this point.
And then just kept the goal kept changing the entire time.
So you accept in the beginning, go, all right, this is obviously pretty serious. Like, fuck, I better just
until you
shut up
get it and you go,
Yeah.
is that it?
Yeah. I did. So I was
I've had
still
a cold worse than that.
Yeah, I was still smoking at the time, and the worst part about it for me could have been called a mild chest infection.
Yeah.
That was it. And I was still punching like 2 packs of smokes a day. So for me, it was kind of like, whatever.
Yeah.
But I tested positive, so I was like, all right, well, I'll stay home.
Yeah. I wasn't around Wigley then. What was it like during that COVID time?
We were pretty lucky we didn't have many cases.
Yeah.
But they were shutting businesses down and had to get contractors in to come and clean the place.
So this is what I mean, though. Like, from a point of view of you're in Victoria, you're in Melbourne, you're in the steel circle, and they're telling you this is for your own good. And in the beginning, it's like, whether it made sense or not, in the beginning, you're like,
We're believing what they're saying.
You're like, fuck, this must be pretty serious. Like, maybe we'll just play it safe and listen.
Because you don't want your kids getting sick or passing away or something, so you protect them all.
Because the last thing you'd want to do in the beginning is go, fuck off, and then your kid dies. Right.
Or old elderly people or whatever the case may be.
For sure. Yeah. So in the beginning, playing it safe, doing, but at some point you go, this is fucking, something's not right here.
It definitely got to that. Yeah.
Right the way through to now where you go, you pricks fucked our lives and cost us God only knows how much money. What's the recall? What's the recourse from that?
What's the consequences for that?
Yeah.
That's all gets forgotten about and let's just move on.
And you see still in like cafes, there's like stickers on the floor, social distancing.
Yeah. Yeah. Everywhere.
But you know what? It's not social, it's physical distancing. Like social, it's a completely different thing. And everyone was just isolated from each other. It's like, that's the social distancing there, what's happening, not physical between people.
I mean, there was a lot of the places had all those fucking clear screens up, that you couldn't...
Yeah. Like I was a chippy at the time. I was working on a building house in Werribee in the middle of the market farms. So just crops everywhere.
Yeah.
And if I was there by myself, technically I still had to wear a mask.
Yep.
There's no one around for 15 kilometres either direction.
That's the most fucking retarded thing out there.
Do you remember up here, like, you're sad enough that couldn't go to, like, a funeral and things like that. But then when the footy was on, didn't matter. You could go.
Yeah.
Melinda was talking about that too. The JB Hi-Fi was classed as an essential store, and when she went in there, it was packed, like it was shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
During COVID, whilst everybody else, well, not everybody, but whilst other businesses are being shut down.
Yeah.
Struggling and, going broke and whatever the case,
Yeah, no, like the instance there, look, couldn't go to a funeral because they had to keep numbers down, but then you could pack a football stadium with like 50,000 people, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Everybody's screaming and carrying on.
Yeah, spitting all over you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so figure that one out.
And,
It's open air.
But what's a fucking funeral? Oh, I guess if you're inside, fair enough. But like a burial.
But still,
Yeah, that's
how
right.
close are those seats?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, so it was a rough time, for sure.
So, okay, so, God, we
Tangent there.
fucking go down some
About those trays.
27. Thanks for bringing us back on topic, Sean. But what's the go with the fuel then? Why is it just the fuel that's ridiculously expensive, or is it
everything.
other shit?
The cost of living is just through the roof in Melbourne.
So, as a company that's not dealing with $5 items, what does that look like for you guys when it comes to sort of dealing with the market? Is that something that you guys try and adjust to, or you sort of just go, well, we'll stick here? Is manufacturing costing more, or is it more consumer stuff?
Well, down in Melbourne, the cost of wages has gone through the roof.
Oh, right.
Yeah. A lot of the tunnels and stuff they're doing, people are getting paid, stop go people,
Yeah.
$150K a year.
Actually, Anthony from Repliglass, one of the guys that we get some of our fiberglass gear off, he lost a couple of employees this year that had been with him for ages, and they were getting 30 or 40% more a week driving fucking forklifts.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's just stupid.
Yeah, like one bloke left, and then about a few weeks later, another bloke puts his resignation in and leaves, and he's like, they're training me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. They're training me and putting me on a forklift, and for X amount of dollars more a week.
Yeah.
And it's all, I don't know whether that was government stuff or not, but I mean, surely the tunnels is at least government contracted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, it's some of the wages that people are getting is just ridiculous. And then the people in the factories, they want to be getting the same thing. And if they don't, like you said,
They'll go.
they'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is just puts the cost of everything up and up and up. And that's why a lot of manufacturing is going back overseas.
So is that from a big business point of view, is that inflation causing the price? Because I mean, God, where does that start? Why are the wages going up? Because the cost of living is going up.
Yeah.
So they're doing that to keep the employees.
Yep.
Which
because otherwise you have no employees. So you go, well, I've got to pay them something.
So the cost of living goes up, therefore the wages have to go up to afford the cost of living, and therefore the next step is the cost of the product has to go up to cover the cost of the wages because the cost of the product had gone up in the beginning.
Yeah. And then the material costs have gone up as well on top of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, I need to buy a farm.
Yeah.
This is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that's almost like this whole self-fulfilling kind
Yeah,
of
it's just a circle that keeps going round and round and round and round.
up and up and up and up.
Yep. So then the business goes, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and take it overseas. Or I'm going to get all the product from overseas in a container and bring it in,
Yep.
which is what's happening a lot now. So the people like us that are manufacturing stuff,
Yeah.
we can't compete
Yeah, right.
because they're getting made in India or China or, Vietnam or whatever the case may be
Yep.
at a lot less price than what we got.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's, like, what was, I shouldn't laugh, it's fucking terrible, but like the Apple factory overseas somewhere, they got the net around it because people were jumping off the roof and it stops them killing themselves. There's a net around the building.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You fucking
And then all
working conditions.
All their stuff's made in China, from memory. And then they did a whole batch of it. When the tariffs came in, they made a whole bunch of phones to import into America, so they didn't have to pay the tariff on it before it came in.
Yeah, that
Something
sounds
like that.
that sounds about right.
Yeah. But even we're finding out, like, the China prices in terms of manufacturing overseas isn't becoming as cheap as what it was.
The gap's starting to close.
Because to get something manufactured, you've got to buy, there's terms on it. Like, you might have to buy a container load.
Yeah.
But if someone doesn't want that much, it's very difficult to now buy from China. And the pricing is obviously going up and up and up. And that's where Australian manufacturing, is there to be able to provide products for companies. So we're now these days, like, yes, we've still got those big companies that we do a lot of stuff for, but it's a lot of smaller companies too. Like a lot of smaller, say, 4x4 companies, for example, they're seeing the product we can make of our own product and going, I wonder if they can make that for me.
Yeah.
Realising the price is actually really not that different.
Yeah, especially when they think they've got a container's worth and they've got all their money sitting on the floor.
Right.
Stuffs up your cash flow where you can just, instead of ordering 1,000, you can order 100 a month from us.
And you get it in, maybe 2 weeks' time rather than waiting months and potentially not even having your data rock up.
Yeah.
And you got all those customers that bought something and going, where's my product?
I think that's a rock and a hard place for businesses that are at like my kind of level, because you guys are obviously enormous and probably even in the four-wheel drive, as you said before, the four-wheel drive industry, it's benefiting from decades of the other industry feeding
100%.
it, So we have like our snorkels and stuff like that done through in-house fabrication. So it's their snorkel, it's their airbox, but they've lasered out our WS logo, because for people that like the brand and want to support the brand, they're brilliant at what they do. I'm not going to try and redesign a snorkel because that's a good snorkel.
People do what people do.
That's right. So it's the same as me. Like, we'll put a logo on a shirt and a hat. I'm not fucking making hats.
Yeah.
But I'll put a logo on a hat.
Yeah.
So we go, right, well, what's the best part of this and this and this, and how do we get our name on it, and how can we sell it? And going to someone like you guys, because the other option is there's a fucking language barrier and all sorts of other, quality control issues.
And what am I going to get?
That's right. And I'm such like a touch and feel. Like, I want to see it. I want to touch it. I want to, whatever.
Yep.
I want to know what it is. And you can't, unless you're going to fly over there and deal with that. And then you still don't know whether that's going to be what it ends up rocking up in a container.
Or you get your first samples and they're Mickey Mouse, think grouse.
Yes.
And then you get your container and it's like, it's nothing like that.
Fucking grouse.
And you've already paid for it.
You hear that, grouse? Yeah, he's from Melbourne. Yeah, right. My auntie and uncle are Melbourneites. Grouse. God, I haven't heard that in years. Yeah, you don't know.
And that's another, like, if we have, say, a new customer, a new client, or a business that wants to work with us, generally you will go and see them. Yeah. And it usually comes into us helping them redesign whatever's there to make sure it actually works to be pressed, to be cut. And that's saved them potentially a lot of money from just sending that file off, getting that to be made, and then coming back and realising it doesn't work.
Because they've done that all their lives. They've done it that way. Yep. Technology's changed. You go, why are you welding it? Why can't we just fold it? Oh, everyone says you can't. Oh, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of customers have said, oh, you can't fold that. Yeah, you can.
Yeah. I think there's how much money people are, whether they have or have access to or whatever. Like our 79 bonnets is a big one. So I'll take a pre-DPF or a DPF 79 bonnet and I cut the skin off the top, cut the frame out and graft it to a whole host of different other stuff. But there's a company in Melbourne, I think it's in Melbourne. I'm not going to drop the name because, anyway, they're down there somewhere and they've obviously, because they've only been doing it for the last sort of 12, 18 months, seen that industry explode.
Yeah.
And they've gone overseas and gone to China and they've dumped a heap of cash into stamps. And they've taken, whether they've 3D scanned one of mine or someone else has done one or whatever, but they've made a top and bottom stamp and they're producing some of these bonnets finished, all steel, no fabrication, no nothing. Right. And I was like, I wonder what sort of dollars are involved in a stamp.
We've had the same thing. We make some brackets for a customer and they rang us up one day and said, you're doing some stuff for our products for someone else. And it's not the way we work.
Yeah.
And they worked out that they bought a product from them, sent it overseas, got it all scanned, and started making them. They even made it to the mistake.
Really?
Yeah, there was a little mistake. Wasn't a bad mistake. They were just going to change it a little bit, but they even copied their mistake. And
it's good. You know what I'm thinking about, don't you?
That's what happened with
James.
Yeah.
Yeah, they stole his fire pit, but they left half his fucking pirate logo in it. Yeah. They fucking reproduced it. Yeah.
That's the stupid shit they do.
Yeah. Oh, God, that'd make you laugh. He stole one, though. He got one back on him. Oh, fuck. I nearly fell off the chair when he told us that story. He's like, they were at an expo or show or something, and they'd seen it, and because he can see the fucking pirate in the side of it. And I said to him, what'd you go and buy? And he said, no, fuck, we ran up and fucking stole it. Fucking smart ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hard part, though. Like, I think people to their core want American-made, Australian-made, wherever you are, that's where you want your shit from. Until the cost starts getting
uncomfortable.
Until
they look at the price tag and they go,
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm the same. I'm like, I would, there's a part of me that goes, God, it would be so much easier to order a pallet of fucking 80 series bonnets with 79. It's done. And you'd probably make more money based on the time that you wouldn't then have to spend doing it. But then it's like it hasn't got my
that's right.
hands
your
on
touch,
it.
Hasn't got your love, everything like that.
Yeah. It's just another fucking stamped part out of China.
Yeah, it means nothing to you. You're just going to shell them like peas and just sell them to anybody. And
yeah.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a lot of stuff, a lot of things like the snorkels where we go, okay, well, that's us putting our logo on someone else's thing, but that thing is being made here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm kind of like, I'm cool with.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we always encourage, whether it's trays and canopy customers or engineering customers, come into the shop, come see it.
Yeah.
Come see the presses, come see the lasers. You know, people show you around and take you through every stage of the process and how everything gets made so you can see it. And generally when, tray and canopy customer comes in, it's, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, we'll show them even the other side of the business, you know, pressing up, you know, hangers for stuff and 10 mil steel, this and that, and, you know, the intricacies in the folding process and stuff are going, okay, like, we get it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Though.
They can see that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's open to anyone. Just come in, we'll give you a tour, we'll show you around, show you how things are made. You know, a lot of people haven't seen a laser go on full tap.
I think one of the other parts of what you're talking about that you do there that's missing today too, and I'm a big one for it, is that's actually customer service.
Oh, 100%.
It's not just order taking.
And
like,
for them to feel comfortable
that
they can ask a question, they can, you know.
And they're not being an inconvenience, like that you're like, yeah, no, fucking, what have you got? Like, talk to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
holy shit.
That's old
picture.
That's old. That's still the same factory, but that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Is that all your COVID marks?
Yeah. That wouldn't have been long after we moved into, because we got 2 factories.
Yep.
Wouldn't have been long after we moved into that.
So we'd now have, 2 Bistronic presses up the corner there, 2 dermers, and then the horizontal one as well.
Yeah, and then the welding robots.
Yeah, welding robot as well. And then all your welding bays. Actually, there'll be a video on our Instagram. Pete goes through and shows all the factory essentially.
Yep.
But yeah, you got 180 ton presses. I can't remember.
320.
320. Yep. big dogs.
What's the? This is probably just totally off topic, but I don't know much about laser stuff. But there's a thing, and you're all over the social, so you will have seen it. There's a thing that's been happening recently where they're laser cutting components, but when they're pressed together, you can't see that it's a two-piece thing.
Zero tolerance stuff.
Is that what it's called? Okay, yeah. Can you do that?
You can. It takes a lot of stuffing around. A lot of that would just be for social
It's
stuff.
purely just to show.
Ah.
Like it's actually would serve no purpose.
No, I don't imagine that it would, but it's fucking cool.
Yeah, you see like a full design or something, and then you drop it and it just disappears, and it's just
Yes.
and you can't see the cutout of it or anything. Yeah,
Yeah, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
That's retarded.
yeah.
Super cool. But see, this would be my problem if I had come up in with a history and I guess a background and parents and stuff and had all that sort of, I'd never get any work done.
Yeah.
He'd never get, I'd just be playing.
If you jump onto Instagram, there's a video of like the laser on full tap. Seeing that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Seeing people's face watching that thing going,
Yeah,
that's a
old.
long time.
That's the,
We saw that photo earlier.
Yeah. All these photos are
that was back in the day when
taking
everything-
a photo of the photo. They're that old.
That was back when you had to just make stuff with your hands.
Yeah.
Not now with the machines.
Yeah, but it's funny how so much of that hand-eye coordination stuff has gone. Like when we were getting out of the old shop, and one of the guys next door had a bit of C channel. It was only alley. It was nothing special, like a 1.5 or 2 mil or whatever it was, C channel, like a 50B100. And all he was like, "How do I cut this thing in half?" And I'm like, "Grab a grinder and cut the fucker in half." And he's like, "Yeah, but it's like, I can't. How do I clamp it and cut it? Because when I tried it before, it was like falling in. I was like, hold it with one fucking hand and
Yeah, cut it.
go up and then move your hand and cut again." And he's like, "Oh, can you do it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well, give it here." And I didn't know this at the time, but he, on the inside of it, because that's where he'd started trying to cut it, was inside the channel. I'm like, well, that's going to end bad. But he'd drawn a black line with a Nico. I didn't see that, and I've cut up, and I just kind of lined it up and then sat the blade in it, and that kind of kept it straight. And give it back to him. He flipped it over, and I've cut the black line in half. And he's like, "How the fuck did you do that?" I'm like, just play, mate. You know, you know, it's all that. I love the ability of it, but you got to be able to pick up a grinder, and
You still do, yeah.
If you go back to the reels there, keep scrolling down. Keep going. Jeez, it was a while ago, wasn't it? Keep going.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, God, there's too many photos. Here we go. That one on the left there, if you turn the sound on, go down again. That one there. This is your laser.
You want another drink down there? You good?
Yeah, I'll take another one.
Yeah.
Here at the canopy for a customer's job, it starts off in the programming office, and to sit there and program it, nest it onto a sheet for the best yield.
So what's that, a bit of gal?
That's
The operator
go.
will
Was that sped up?
No, that's full speed.
Shit.
So that can hold up to 2 tons per cartridge. So there's 2 cartridges there, so they can cut 4 ton at a time. The machine's sitting in there cutting, doing its stuff. As it's working, it loads another sheet onto the second bed. The table that's in the cutting area comes out. Your cut sheet will then go over to and be dropped down onto the cutting deck. From there, it gets sorted on a sorting table, and all offcuts, remnants, slugs, profiles, inside profiles, go into on pallets or in bins to be recycled. We've spoken about the laser
I could just watch it all day. This thing going, flat out.
Yeah, turn the noise off for a sec, Shawnee. How thick is this thing cutting through the video?
Looks like 2 or 3 mil gal.
And that's just normal speed.
Yeah. 12 kilowatt fibre laser.
Nuts.
Yep.
Good Lord.
Yep. And it's just, that's what it does all day. Load the sheet on. As it's cutting, we'll drop another one onto the bed, ready to go. And it's just continue all day. And that's where, obviously, the trays and canopies, but the other side of the business, that it just never stops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, you've still got the other one on top of that as well. The
So
other laser.
so that's all your manufacturing. So is any part of that manufacturing for other companies like four driving sort of gear? And okay, cool.
Yep.
Probably ones we won't mention, but yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Lots and lots of companies. One,
And that started before the trays and canopies.
So you were manufacturing four drive like componentry stuff for other people before you guys got into it.
Well before, like 10, 12 years before.
Yeah, right. So was that a sort of point where you were like, you've looked at that many different designs and you were like, fuck, we can do this a bit better?
No,
No?
no. We just the main reason that I ended up doing it is because I seen the price of what people were charging. It's like it doesn't cost that much.
Right.
There's no need for it to be that much. So yeah.
Is there any conversation on sort of pricing for? I mean, it's so hard because everybody wants something different and they want to fit out with that and all that sort of gear. But like, I'm just trying to think for a typical competitor where you're going to walk in and spend $60,000 on a tray and canopy for the back of a 79. Are you guys noticeably cheaper? And I mean in cost, not in quality.
I wouldn't say. Well, depends on who it is.
Yes, this is what I mean. This like yeah, and I don't like dropping names really either.
No. But it's where you save money is doing bulk. So if you're cutting 10 of the same thing at once,
yeah,
it's the cost of that individual product is halved.
Yeah,
and that's where you make your money.
But that's what I'm saying. Like for people that are out shopping and they want to, because everybody does everything these days online. And I get it. You get a message going, how much the Raptor line of my Hilux? And you're like, okay, single cab, dual cab. Has it got a tray? Has it got a tub? Inside, outside, So it's like you get that. But for people that are out that are looking, maybe not shopping only on price, but they're looking for like the best bang for buck for what they're looking for.
Yeah.
You guys are very competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the better way to say it.
We're not the cheapest, but we're not the dearest.
No.
If you pull up that Instagram again, may as well, while we're talking about the laser cutting and stuff, we may as well go into the pressing as well.
Yep.
If you go back to where... actually, just go down for me. Keep going. I just saw a press there. Click on that one there. So that's the press pro. That's some under tray toolboxes. So that's just your standard press and all the tooling. We've got some pretty gun press operators that just smash this out day in, day out.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And again, that's just something you can stand there and just watch it all day.
We pride ourselves. I pride myself on quality.
Yeah.
And that comes from you've done every...
Yeah, well, I was a boilermaker by trade, so I could run all their machines.
Yeah.
And do all that. That's where a lot of those ideas come out of my head because I know it can happen.
Because you've done it.
And do you have like what's your typical thing? Do you like to start from nothing and go, or do you will you sit there and you've got a design, but you'll sit there and look at it, and be like, I can fucking tweak this and yeah.
Yeah. Or because you design it on a computer and it looks great.
Yeah.
And then you start building it, no, that's not right.
Yeah, okay.
And it's the same with the other side of the business too. You go talk to a customer and they go, this is what I want to do.
Yep.
And this is where your knowledge of how to press something, they go, this is what I want. You're like, that won't work.
Yeah.
Got to do it this way.
Or
don't
have to weld it. You can fold it.
Yeah.
But you can't. They tell me you can't. Well, you can.
Yeah.
Because there's ways.
Yeah.
And if you've never been in the game and haven't done it, you won't know. We've got jobs that we do now that we've had America ring us and say, how the hell do you do that? It's not possible. It's not. But
really?
You can.
Yeah. You get rid of your fucking tariffs and we'll tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
So what else is happening? What do you guys got going on? So you're driving the 79. That's your daily at the moment.
2500 Ram.
A 2500. And what are you driving?
Patrol.
What do you drive?
GU Series 4 Patrol.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And have you got any plans to do anything to that, or is it build underway?
I had a Navara before that, which was a mistake, but anyway.
So you're a Nissan boy.
Yeah, and GQ before. Yeah, you could say that now. GQ. Actually, I had a 79, bought it on the GQ.
Did you?
Yeah, bought an eBay special fiberglass. Got a mate of mine who builds.
Dad, don't even talk to me. Fucking fiberglass.
He builds rowing boats, so I got him to do it. Still hasn't cracked, which I'm happy with.
How long has it been on there for?
7 years, I think.
Well, that's a good resin then, because Jesus,
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, right. I'll let that play.
But I bought him a Navara. I bagged it myself.
Yeah.
Realised I don't know what I'm doing after the bags burst twice.
Why the bags burst?
I
What were you
used
running? What bags were you running?
I used a
Bellow
triple
bags.
bellow bag. And then I saw the cruiser and I was like, that's what it is
Rolling
there.
sleeve you got to have.
Yeah.
Cruiser Rams on it as well, rolling sleeve.
Yep.
Actually, if you go back onto Instagram, there's a video of it going up and down.
Yeah, all
If
right.
you click onto our reels, scroll up to the top. Spent too much time on it, don't I?
Yep.
Reels. And then, that top right one just here.
Cross your right shoulder. Yeah, there you go.
Drop it down, back it in. Then you just click the auto leveling buttons and it just goes back up itself and figures it out. Bop your uncle.
Oh, yeah, it's starting to go back up. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, you need that. You need that, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
So we've done that on that cruiser. We did it on the dual cab cruiser. We did it on another customer's cruiser. These all just... And we don't sell it, but it was just a... We've done it before.
Yeah.
Mates of ours and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's that...
Ram's easy because it's a coil, so you can just replace it with bags. And
That's the thing, though. It's like I never did the bonnets to do bonnets. I did one for me.
Yeah.
On a GU. I had an extra cab GU, a Series 1 I chopped. We did the 4-inch wider, big fiberglass guards on the front and net 44s and 35s and like a rocker bar from MCC and all sorts of other shit on it. And it was just a bonnet that we had lying around. I was like, fuck it, we'll throw that on there.
yeah.
And it was never meant to be a thing.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden people start asking for it. Now
Yeah.
they're fucking bonnets.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
But the patrols are starting to take over the shop. Got mine, and then you got your single cab, extra cab. That's got a bit of ponies underneath it.
Yeah,
that
that thing's
thing's
work
just,
done to it.
that thing's horrendous. Too much power for a TD.
What? Oh, kettles.
You've already got one GQ that's got enough in it. You don't need another one.
Oh, dear. What's when you guys get to go away? We haven't asked this for forever. Are you more beach or bush?
Can't go on the beach in Victoria.
Okay, the Victoria sucks balls, but if you were going
has to
away,
be bush. Like,
yeah, but if you're going away, what's your preference? Like, if you could go on the beach, would you be beach or are you more bush?
never really done it. I've only been to Robe, and that's about it.
You've never been camping on the beach,
No, because I haven't driven.
really?
I've done Fraser, but never camped over it.
Yeah, Fraser sucks. It's how long ago though?
Oh, years ago.
Yeah, okay, maybe that's different.
It's
Fraser
just
sucks now.
It's a thing that obviously you can't do in Victoria, but the only real
It's
way,
too fucking cold down there anyway.
yeah. But then you go to like South Australia, something like that. It's just people think it's nice as it's windy as hell.
There's a bit of a Kiwi accent in there.
Me,
Did you hear that? Well, it's nice as.
Cha. But yeah, it's bush really, high country. Like
Yeah, high country's beautiful, but it's you gotta get up here in like a
I do want to get up on the beach.
yeah. Like King Kuna. Bring up King Kuna, Shawnee.
Wouldn't be
Hit-
able to take my
hit
patrol on
Google.
overheat.
Hey, it overheat.
Maybe.
I had
Kettle off.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure my patrol was the one that was up there. Yeah, hit King Kuna Beach camping and then just hit images. Bring that up. This is like, it's a raised area that's probably, I don't know, 15 meters from the water's edge.
Yep.
So it's water's edge, comes up, and then it just kicks up, and that's where you camp.
Yep.
And it's just fucking nowhere, nobody anywhere. And it's like $7 a night.
Yeah, right.
If you're in the non-peak season, last time we were up there, we saw one truck go one way once for
Yeah,
like
right.
5 days. It's just
Does it get busy?
beautiful. I've never been in there in any kind of like peak season,
Yeah.
but all right, hang on. A minute.
yes.
There you go. Top left. Click that.
It's like Honeymoon Bay.
I've
the
never
Kimberleys.
been there. I don't. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, WA.
Yeah.
Yeah, scroll down. Yeah, so
stop.
that there is like where we camp, and it's just beautiful. It looks like it's like right there, but it's probably about I don't know, maybe a 6 foot drop.
Yep.
that just goes down a little sand dune off onto the beach. But that's what you're waking up to and going to sleep to. It is fucking stunning.
Yeah.
And you can have fires up there on the beach. There's
Yeah.
no restrictions on that.
I still think one of my favourite places is Central Australia.
Yeah.
Doing Fink. Have you done Fink before?
Yeah.
No, it's something else. It's sick.
Yeah, right.
Took the family up there last year. No one had ever been before.
Yeah.
And you see Toby wasn't there that year, which is disappointing, but you just hear that first trophy truck coming with a helicopter following behind.
Yeah.
It's just something else. It's sick as. You see the dust and just LS just on tap, and then this trophy truck just finger past you.
Full noise.
Yep.
Do you want one
Yeah,
more?
I'll go another one.
And you're sitting there looking straight over the horizon, looking at the stars. Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a good spot up there. If you've
Yeah,
never really experienced it, it's a beautiful
I'll have
thing.
to do a work trip.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, best way to do it.
It's
Have you done much snow driving before?
never any snow driving.
Yeah, right.
That's we've got a few bucket list things that we'd love to do, and like the Vic High Country, because I think last time I was down there, went to Mount Buller.
Yep.
Not driving though. That was just like
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do it. It's just day trip sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, went out and did a bit of skiing and whatever else. But just a beautiful spot.
Yeah.
I think it's Mount Buller. Where's Threadbow? That's down there
That's
too,
New
isn't
South
it?
Wales.
Oh, is it?
yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. No, Mount Buller. Because, my auntie and uncle have got down in Melbourne somewhere. I don't know any of the bloody suburbs down there, but yeah, it's a beautiful sort of spot.
Yeah.
But the Vic High Country is definitely on the bucket list,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm a fucking sook in the cold.
Yeah. We did a snow trip last year. Actually, it's on our YouTube. And
Yeah.
it was great, but also the worst decision we've ever made. Like,
Right.
I can't remember, I think it was 1,600 metres above sea level.
You got a shitload of snow.
Got to camp, and it was that much of snow in the morning.
1,600 meters above sea level.
Yeah.
That's like getting hard to breathe.
Nah.
No?
That's resort level. Like, ski, like Buller's 1,800. Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay. What am I fucking thinking?
Well, you're from Queensland, so it's very different.
Fair on.
Yeah. But yeah,
It's full of cheek, this one, isn't it?
yeah, Pete knows all about it. Don't worry.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just woke up in the morning and everything was frozen. Car's not starting. Driving down the hill, we still need to open awnings to let snow melt off and push snow off. And
Wow.
yeah, had a fire going, which was sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just hectic. It's one of those camps you do it once,
Yep.
but if it's snowing while you're camping, it's not fun. It's really just for the
You do it so you can say you've done it.
for the Insta, essentially. Yep.
Yeah. Fucking social media.
See, I'd rather be in outback New South Wales or outback Queensland and
Yeah.
Channel Country.
Yeah. I love the bush. There's a spot up here. I keep bringing it up. I need to fucking travel more. I need to be able to talk about more shit. But Kenilworth up here has got a beautiful spot.
Good bakery, don't they?
Oh, great bakery. Great.
That's all I see from Mac Preston is just going to get donuts.
Really?
Yeah.
They've got some fucking mean donuts up there. It's like a heart attack in a box. But no, there's
There we go. Another work trip to go get some donuts. Yeah, cool.
yeah. Kenilworth is a good stop off because there's a bloke up there named Shane who's got a dairy farm, which is a campground up there. Action's been there before.
Yeah.
And I'm like anything. I don't like dry, boring. Well, I call it boring. Some people it's not boring, but I don't like dry, harsh bush.
Yep.
Like I'll like the bush if there's like a creek through it or something
Yeah.
like that because I love my relaxing's water. If I can hear water, I'm set. Whether it's a creek or the ocean or whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of good spots up here. You'll have to bring the boys up, have to bring the rigs up, and
Well, one
do
year,
some
we
filming.
might do a Brisbane show.
Yeah.
Maybe soon. Like, so we're still very
Brizzy's show was gay.
Victorian based, but we do have a customer driving down from Queensland in a few weeks' time. We've had multiple customers from WA, South Australia, Queensland drive down. But we will be expanding to have dealerships sort of all over the country, essentially, is the goal.
I think you would be big. I won't drop names, but big brands that we're like associated with that went to the show won't go back.
Yeah,
No.
right.
Yeah.
It was a total waste of money.
Yeah.
It's influencer based. It's showing off your rigs.
Depends on the show, yeah. Melbourne seems to be very different.
Yeah.
The Melbourne show.
Yeah.
I have heard Brisbane and Sydney and stuff is a bit different.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, a lot of conversations we've had that, like guys that are in companies that don't care about spending 50 or 100 grand.
Yeah.
That are like, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
We're just not doing
Just
it.
turns more into a show and shine.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. But unfortunately, these days, that's the only way customers can see the physical product, unless it's, you've got multiple stores all over the country. Those shows of where people can actually see, touch, feel.
Yeah. Setting up dealers, I think, is a cool idea. Especially if you've got some product up there that people can do that,
100%.
touch and feel and see and all that.
And you set it up with the shop who's up here, get it on socials, and that's where people can start seeing it. But you've got to get that initial, those dealerships sorted.
Yeah, for sure. I think with everything I've seen, I mean, I haven't had a lot to do with that rear end stuff because it's like I kind of just tinker with the older, smaller sort of gear. But I think with everything I've seen with what you're doing, it's like, I mean, clearly you've got the fucking background for it. It's,
And that's what's starting to become. It's now becoming another alternative to those brands.
Yeah.
With 60 years of knowledge and experience and 60 years of welding, pressing, laser cutting, all that stuff.
Where's Wigley come from?
That's our last name, and that was from England.
I was going to say that.
It was called KRW,
Yeah.
which was my grandfather's name. And then when Dad took over a few years later, he changed it to Wigley Engineering, which is just easier.
Yeah.
And it's just gone from there.
Do you do much of a play on that? Like it's like a brand name that lasts, or like it's a last name that lasts, or something like that? Because it's been, I mean, you got a lot of decades behind it.
No, I've never actually thought about that.
No.
I'll take 10% of the cut. Thanks.
I have to look into that one.
I just think it's like I remember looking at it. It's got to be a last name because it makes no sense being anything else.
And that's I guess the premise of the whole business is family. Like, everyone at work, we all have a bit of fun, putting zip ties and tail shafts. And
but everyone's treated like family.
It's just,
whether it's employees, whether it's customers, everyone gets that personal touch.
Customers come in if they want to go away for a weekend and see the train canopy or, a tour of the facility, knock yourself out.
Yeah, we touched on that before. I've said it on here 100 times. I don't know where I heard it. I heard it years ago. I think it was some fucking sales thing or something I went to, but whatever it was, this part stuck. And what you're talking about, and we've said before about customer service, people won't always remember what you said, but they'll remember how you made them feel.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. And when they
Make
walk
it feel
away,
warm and cozy.
yeah, when they walk away and they've seen 5 different places that do trays and canopies, especially, don't everybody have a fuck off. The women will remember this more. They'll go, he was a prick, he was a prick, he was a prick, he was great.
Yeah. Or ignored me. He just wanted to speak to the husband and he just wanted to speak.
Yep.
You got to speak to both of them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And even if there's kids there,
Yeah.
get everybody involved.
Yeah. It's Barney from Legend X he's brilliant at a lot of the stuff that he does, but he will talk to fucking everyone. You get the husband, the wife, the kids come up, he'll almost bypass them and talk to the kid.
Yeah.
Because it's like, but that's just him.
He's a sucker at the shows for it too.
He
was standing there for half an hour talking to one person.
He is.
It's a line of 20 people waiting for him.
Oh yeah, we've said that on here before. Like I met him at a show, in like 2018 or something, and we held up the line for 20 minutes talking shit.
Yeah.
But it's that interaction that the residue from all of that, whether they've spoken to 4 or 5 or whatever different people, after. I mean, if you've got people out there that are warm and fuzzy with their product shit, then that stands alone. But all things being relatively comparable, they're gonna go with who treated them like a fucking human, and made them feel engaged in the conversation and doing things like a tour and showing them behind the scenes.
It's the experience. It's not the product.
And you had customers say the same thing to you a couple of months ago. Every time I come in here, it's an hour out of my time that we're just talking about whatever.
Yeah. Everyone seems to come on my lunch break, which is great.
Yeah.
But I'll always, we always go out and chat because it's their time. I can eat lunch whenever.
Yeah.
But it's the same with quotes. They'll get a quote in 24 hours.
Yeah, right, there you go.
Yep. During, obviously not the weekends, but during a work day, I'd much rather have them get it all sorted straight away so they know what they're doing rather than waiting for a week until they get a response.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as soon as the customer walks in the door, it's all right. What are we doing? Have a look at our product. Let's go out to the shop. What car have you got? Let's go have a look at it.
Yep.
You know, and that's it's just trying to understand what they want. And then, you know, customers in the future will go on trips and go see how they go use their car. And, you know, you want the customer coming back and showing their trips and stuff like that, which have multiple times, and showing photos.
And it makes a big difference if I talk to them too. Like they might be talking to Tom and you walk past and just say g'day. And they're like, oh, he's giving me the time of the day just to do that. It makes a big difference.
It does. And I think there's a lot of big brand names out there that are resting on the, you know, history or the name of, you know, years gone by. And they do. And I've gone into places as a business person going, I want to talk to such and such, and you're not giving even the time of day because they're like, they sit at the front counter and they're order takers. They're not interested. They're not whatever. Yeah. But they'll have this social persona that they give a shit and that they're engaged, and you walk in there and you may as well not even bothered.
Yeah.
You know, so to take that time to go through. And I mean, like, God, a rear end, that's not something you're going to talk to people in 5 minutes about.
No, some of them take hours.
I'd say if you're doing a train canopy, you want to talk about what we're doing a quote, it's a minimum 2 hours.
Yeah.
I've had one customer, it was 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Just because they weren't certain. And we ended up getting the order, so it was worth it.
Yeah.
But you got to make them, you got to talk to them about what they're doing, where they're going.
Yeah.
You know, what they want. Do you really want that? I wouldn't because of this. I would do that.
Yeah.
And if a customer wants to leave early, I would always pull them out. Say, you know what, another half an hour, let's discuss this trip, just to make sure they're completely happy with it. So even if they don't go with us, they're going somewhere else and knowing what they actually need to do, what they need out of a product. Like,
yeah, we
get it all the time. As customers going, oh, we don't do this, but go speak to this company because they'll be able to do it. And I ended up speaking, you know, with half an hour on the phone going like, we don't do that, but go speak to this company.
Yeah.
And I end up spending, you know, half an hour talking to them about what to do with another company. Like,
I get that because
it's just helping them to the best of our ability to make sure even if they don't go with us, at least they've been given information that they can then go take somewhere else.
Yeah, we similar sort of thing. We had multiple times where I'll pretty much say the same thing. It's like, I'm going to talk myself out of work here, but what you actually need is to be doing this.
Yep.
You know, and whether it's giving them some honesty or even just replying to some stuff, you know, whether it's an email or whatever, because it blows my mind how many and how repetitive the comment when I've replied to somebody, you get back from them going, oh, thanks so much for the reply. I've spoken to X amount of people. I haven't heard shit.
Yep.
And you're like, how are these fuckers even staying in business when you're not even going to reply?
And you don't know what's going to come later.
That too.
You know, they might want this, but later on they remember what you've said and what you've done.
Yep.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they want a tray or they want this or they want that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to go back to them because
it's
just they were good to work with.
It's just genuine enthusiasts, essentially. You know,
That's it.
Just we all love going away and camping and touring and wheeling and that sort of stuff. Or even on the other side of the business, making a product that's going to last, because at the end of the day, we all want that same product. We want something that's going to last, and you know, you got to make the customer feel like they're being listened to.
Especially when you're out there clearly, you know, putting it to the test.
You've got to use your products. Yeah. You look at like the Cruiser, that thing, the bar work on it's cooked.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about going into some of that sort of side of it, or
Making bars.
Yeah.
It's too expensive.
Yeah. You got to do all with all the testing and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
And then it becomes because there's a bit of that in Australia though.
Yeah.
But you can tell the difference because there's like this handful of bars are between 1,500 and 2,500, and this handful of bars are $5,000 plus.
Goes up pretty quick.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a big jump.
Yeah.
But people are clearly paying it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I'm finding these days too, it's becoming a massive looks thing. It's not functionality now. It's just how it looks on
If
Instagram.
it holds a winch and some lights, I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
I'm like, sweet.
Yeah. But yeah, we've got to make sure that the product that we're selling is usable,
Yep.
is functional,
Yep.
lasts.
Yeah.
You know, that Cruiser hit in Cape York on
Palm Creek.
that canopy is still sitting in the shop. It's only got a small dent in one side. That's 4.2 ton of Cruiser smashing onto that wall.
Yeah, right.
You need to know that can happen.
Well, actually,
we've had a customer put a car on his side, and
well, that was he was doing the cape when I was coming home.
Yeah.
And he rolled it on the side and the canopy held it up and didn't damage the car.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's those stories that we now know that our product has some sort of credibility to it and will last. Because we've gone and done it on our own cars.
Well, you've gone and done it on your own. You've also had that public feedback,
Yep.
and
Yep. And we've had, some influencers on board previously who would go out and use it every weekend and give us feedback on, let's change this, or actually I really like this, or I can push this, or, just giving us from someone's perspective that's using it every week.
And if you do have an issue, it's how you deal with that issue as well.
absolutely. Well, nobody's
That's a big
infallible.
thing. No,
Yeah.
everyone's got stuff that's failed, or this has happened, or that's happened. It's how you don't just ignore it. It's how you deal with that
Yeah.
too.
I was going to say, I think what's that old line? It's don't judge me by my mistakes. Judge me by how I deal with them, or overcome them, or
That's right.
handle them,
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Because everybody's going to make a mistake. Everybody's going to miss something. Everybody's going to think something will work, and then it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool. Well, that didn't work. What's next?
And we'll back it with a lifetime warranty.
Yep.
On our product that we make. If it's something we've made.
Really?
Yep.
Shit. That's a
Yep.
mic drop sort of comment on a canopy.
If
And
someone's saying a year's warranty, there's no faith in it.
right.
Yeah.
If you can't, I personally, if I was buying a product, I want to make sure that it's going to last the entirety of the car's lifetime. And that's why we've got that mounting system that will go into another vehicle. You buy your car, you use it for 200,000, new cars these days, you can't get more than 200,000 Ks out of
Yeah,
it.
I think you'd be hard pressed doing that.
But
Yeah.
by the time that lifetime of that car's gone, you take the train canopy off, put it onto the next one, you're not spending another 50 grand. And that's the whole point of it.
Yep.
So lifetime warranty to make sure that the money you're spending is going to something that's going to last.
And like we said before too, it's that personalisation. After that amount of time, you've got a lot of shit in there where you're like, do I want to do this again?
Yeah.
And yours, you can just unbolt and go again.
Straight back on. And the boys that make it, they absolutely froth it.
Yeah.
They spend so much time and effort to make sure it's perfect in every aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, the love that goes into them.
We've had, boys that redo welds and headboards just to make it, just look much nicer. Just peculiar because they just want to see a finished product that suits their standard go out.
Yeah. When you're with the colour coding, obviously all the black's powder coated.
Yep. Black and white's powder coated.
Yeah, and everything else is 2K.
Not always.
Okay.
You can get some of the colours in powder,
Right.
but most of it's 2-packed.
Yeah, okay. It's a good looking rig. If you ever want some influencers to go and test out the toy haulers, ready. Fucking ready.
Just going to make one.
Yeah, that's a good looking setup on the back of that.
Yeah, the next one was going to be better, but yeah.
What do you?
Can't believe you got rid of that chassis.
I've still got the file.
Still got the file. And even the 6x6 diff still
That's still sitting up.
still
in the
sitting
shop.
around. Yep. That's a sorry story, that one.
Do you ever with this amount of time, this amount of history in doing what you're doing? Do you ever sort of go back through your files? Like, oh fuck, I forgot about that. And revisit them, or do you always sort of juggle on it?
It's always there.
Yeah.
We've had that 6x6 diff idea. It was how long ago was that?
Oh shit. About 6 years ago.
6? Yeah. And it's still sitting in the shop.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's sitting in the rack up in the shop. All been machined, ready to go.
Chimney chop, that was thought about
Yeah.
years and years and years and years ago.
Really?
Yeah. There's all those things. Yeah.
Yeah. I did one of the 79 bonnets for a Jimny. That sucked.
Right. The scoop would be bigger than the bonnet, wouldn't
It
it?
was.
Yeah, right.
When I started, we took because they're like triangular.
Yes.
So we took about 6 inches out of the guts, moved the back forwards, and then because it was too then wide, I took about 3 inches out of the center of that, and then welded all that together and linished it and English wheeled it and smoothed it all out, and then I could start the job. But it come up really cool.
Yeah, right.
Do hit Instagram and hit up start writing in the search bar, hit chip. It's the guy that did one for the MAXTRAX giveaway.
Yeah.
Was apparently a few people hit him up for it, and he was just like, never again.
Yeah, right.
Fuck, it can't be that hard.
They just supercharged that, I think, too.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
Yeah.
right near the end near the giveaway. Yeah, he was like, never again. I'm like, fuck, it can't be that hard. It's a small bonnet. I finished it and went,
Never again.
never again. That was so much work before you could even start the job.
Yeah. And that's where you go, like, is it worth doing again? Is it
Yeah.
worth the time? Is it worth the effort?
Yeah, if we could get a mold, we'd be probably pretty sweet and sort of reproduce them. But then again, it's like, yeah.
And then it's just finding people that, I mean, it serves no purpose, really.
No.
But it's like...
Looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool. But are people willing to spend that money on something that looks cool for Instagram? That's the juggling act these days is,
Yeah, it is.
do people have the money? Like,
Yeah, and that's like they're not cheap, and it's just, I mean, nothing's cheap. Like you were saying, everything's
how
getting
expensive chimneys are too. Like, oh.
Yeah, but you know, there's some of them do the what do they call them? The what's the Mercedes, the G wagon? They do the J
I
wagon.
have seen that. Yeah,
Yeah, the J wagon version, and they're
Yeah.
all like pimped out and
yeah,
leather
yeah,
and big chrome wheels. And
yeah.
need to bring back spinners.
Oh no.
All right, gentlemen. Well, what else is going on? You got anything else you want to cover before we wrap this thing up?
No, I don't think so. Just that, yeah.
You just make really good stuff.
We try to.
Australian
Yeah.
made,
Yeah,
Australian,
high
mate.
quality.
Australian made.
Yeah.
And
Not
don't
just,
let.
not just trays and
And
canopies.
people say they get shied away from Australian made because
Yeah.
they think it's going to be expensive. It's not the case.
No.
It's not the case.
No, I don't think it has to be, but I do feel for you with the wages and everybody, especially with something down the road,
Yeah.
like government funded, basically poaching workers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Even
rough.
businesses, like we're finding larger companies are still struggling just to buy or sell their own products, which obviously comes down the lines, and then
Yeah.
we're not making it as
Yeah.
much, and then
And that's the biggest thing that's hurt us is because they're not selling,
Yeah,
so they're not getting us to do as much.
yeah,
And yeah, it is hurt.
yeah,
You speak to most people in Victoria, and they're all saying they're hurting.
yeah,
yeah. But yeah, trays and canopies is
Yeah,
it's a trend these days that's happening, and
Oh yeah,
like I think it's definitely the way things are going. That engineering side of the business is definitely not going. Like that's still just as big as ever.
Yeah.
And that's really still our main focus is that,
Yeah.
as well as the trays and canopies, and using whatever we're doing in the engineering side to help benefit trays and canopies in the future. You know, if there's any stuff that we're doing in the engineering side, which has been multiple things that's been incorporated to our trays and canopies, and that's
Yeah,
where we'll
most
constantly
of it.
try to evolve.
yeah,
Try to do stuff different from other companies, which again, if people come see it in person, they'll see there are differences purely from learning over 60 years of engineering. So
yeah. Bringing that level of backgrounds is just
Yeah.
that's just a whole other game.
100%.
It's like kind of almost. I definitely think you need to do something with the marketing, with the length of the name,
Yes.
like that. You know, the name that lasts, the
Or
last
brainstorm.
name, or you know, playing with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and just have fun with it, you know.
yeah.
And that's the whole point. Like,
And
you know,
that's like the zip ties.
there's a whole video
Yeah.
of me putting transfer case in neutral,
and just shows
and then
people.
just driving off and realising what's wrong with zip ties and tail shafts.
It just
Yeah.
shows
Have
that
fun.
you know we're just human.
Yeah.
Apart
Because
from,
you're the director or owner or whatever, you're no different to anyone else.
apart
Yeah.
from when you have to drop a customer to the train station, the zip
Yeah,
ties
but
and
a zip
tail
ties on
shafts.
me ram and like, what's happening here?
Yeah. Isn't it funny though? It's like when you're on your own, you'll pick it up quick. When there's like a customer there, you're like, "Fuck, what's going on?"
Yeah, I just drove out the driveway and down
Yeah.
the road and
Full panic.
what the
Yeah.
hell?
Oh, yeah.
And I got back to the shop and there was not a person to be seen.
Yeah,
We all
like-
forgot about it.
Whereas everybody, they're like,
yeah.
And the customer saw the funny side of it, and it's just going like, you know what, a bit of fun happens here, and that's what you want.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and you need to you kind of almost set the tone with your socials with that as well, because it's like people will
It's the
rock
raw
up.
side of things.
Yeah, but they know what to expect.
Yeah.
It's like I've said this on here a few different times. Like there's a profile thing that I saved on my phone, which I didn't even know what I was doing. But now when I call someone or whatever, there's a photo of me pops up, and it was whatever the phone did. And it's I'm at a desk, and you can see the beer. And someone said to me like, "Oh, like you fucking, you sure you want that like in your thing of people customers?" I'm like, if somebody's got a problem with me having a beer, you're not my
Yeah.
customer.
Yeah, exactly right.
So the socials are good because it sets the tone.
Yeah.
And like we have people come down over all the different years of doing all different stuff, and they're like, "You are the same, whatever their language is, but
Yeah.
you're the same dickhead we watch."
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, I don't know how to be anybody else.
Yep.
Yep.
But it makes it more authentic and more fun.
Yep.
When you
You
can
can,
just
you can go over the top of it.
Yeah.
You know, overdo it. in terms of like, production level and making sure things are perfect and you know, editing. But we're raw.
Yeah.
If there's something going online on socials, it's usually Pete talking about something.
Yeah.
There's about 5 takes before the one that actually gets posted goes up.
That's on a good day.
But
That's
then,
fun.
we'll still post the bloopers, because it's just people saying, oh, that's the bloke that talks about this. And then they come to the shop and go, oh, that's that guy that was speaking about the socials. And, it's not just some crazy whiz-bang edit that just people go, oh, I've seen that sort of stuff before. And
And that goes down the line. Like, I remember being an apprentice and people taking the piss out of that at work too.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a laugh.
Yeah. That's also a rite of passage.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to
But
enjoy coming to work.
you never
You don't
got
wanna-
shitty about it. It's just, having a laugh and,
Yeah.
There's a video of a scooter. You drive around a scooter. And
scooter in the office and, some stupid stuff.
I feel like there's some like American chopper throwback, like riding through doors
Yeah.
and shit. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Well, next time we're down there, we'll have to stop in and have a look.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Have a walk through and check it all out.
Maybe something else to go in the 80 series.
As conversations can be had. Conversations can be had. It hasn't fucking changed in a while, so it needs something.
Oh, perfect.
All right, gentlemen. Well, anything else you want to bounce off before we wrap it up?
Good.
I think that's about it.
Well, I really appreciate you guys. Fuck me. It's been a long day. I really appreciate you guys flying up and stopping in and saying hello, having a chat. I love what you're doing.
Yep.
For anybody that doesn't know anything about you guys up until now, hit us with your socials.
So it's Wigley Engineering on everything.
Right.
If you want a quote for trays and canopies or just general engineering, laser cutting, pressing, just jump on our website. There's an inquire now button. You've got the 2 options there.
Yep.
Our quote forms are fully ready to go to fill out everything for your tray and canopy, so there's no questions needed. It's all there. Click buttons, sizes, everything. So jump to wigleyengineering.com.au.
.au.
Or
Sweet.
drop in and see us.
Or drop in.
Yeah.
Yep.
And where are you guys located?
Dandenong South.
Yep.
So come see us and we'll sort you out with something. As we always say, come in, have a walk around, have a chat.
Yeah.
Jump on our socials, see what we're doing.
Even if they want to just come and have a look.
Come on down, say hello.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's my biggest drama is I'm a talker, so when people rock up here,
Well, that's the thing. We end up chatting for too long. We never get work done. So
yeah. Yeah, but then I got to come back in here and finish doing the fucking work.
exactly.
Yeah.
I love it. Awesome.
Awesome.
All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you
dramas.
very much again for coming down, and we'll catch you when we come down there and say hello.
Too easy.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Cheers. Bye, everybody.